Okay. Yo, we're back. We're doing the call-in show. We're here. We're live. Excuse me. Got a little mucus in there. Sinuses. All right, we're back after a few weeks. The topic today is Technologic. Tech. We're talking tech. Because, you know, I think we done this? I don't know. We did something like this, but this is you know, it's present. It's ever present in our lives in the modern world. The tech obsessed shit that we deal with. You know what I'm saying? This isn't going to be, you know, a explicitly anti or pro tech show. We're just gonna express our opinions, you know, our viewpoints, perspectives, and see how it goes. Maybe get into some arguments, some righteous ranting, some, you know, whatever we want to do, whatever people are feeling like. What did I want to say about tech? What did I want to say? I don't know. We're gonna do calls in a moment. If you never listened to the call-in show before, this is just it's a live stream that we do every couple weeks or so, and the number's gonna be on screen in a few minutes here after I'm done doing my great opening. Jeez, I got a lot of burps. I was pre-gaming. I was chugging a brew. I got a lot of burps to get out. That's what I gotta do before the calls start coming in. I gotta work out the burps. No, but anyway, we're talking tech. So tech can be anything. It can be, you know, we talk about AI. AI is a big one. Everyone's fucking talking about AI. I'm already sick of it. If this is going to be the future, then this is upsetting because I'm already sick of hearing about it. And it's just started? So that's not cool. I am hesitant to come out with a real strong AI take because it feels like it's early on, and also AI. I don't even know what it means. I don't know what it means. It feels like it can mean anything. It feels like how people started saying, like, believe in the science, like, in that religious way, whereas, like, it used to be like have faith in God, and now it's just like believe in the science. AI is another vague thing where it's just like everything is AI now. As far as I can tell, anything that is being developed that's considered new or novel in the tech field is AI. Whether it is or it isn't, because who knows what that means? AI? Artificial intelligence? Like, it's just vague. Like, there's been AI shit for a while. And I'm not learned enough to know the distinctions, generally. I will say, I've been on Twitter, and I've been seeing... My general opinion on AI is informed from Twitter and seeing tweets that annoy me about AI. And I always just see... It just seems like a huge scam to me because of the tweets that I see. I see all these different, like, Twitter scammers who will all tweet the same shit. They'll just be like, oh my god, this is insane. Look at this new AI plugin for Logic. All right? It's a little text bar at the bottom. I'm trying to make music in Logic, but I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I have no idea how to use Logic. For some reason, I downloaded it, but I have no idea how to use it. And now, there's a tool that lets idiots like me use programs that I don't know how to use. It's a little text bar at the bottom, and I ask it questions. I go, hi, hello there. I forget the name of the thing. It's like, hi, Samuel, can you make a dope bass beat for me? And it's like, sure, of course. Sure thing. And it goes, beep, 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 and like 10 seconds later, it's like, what do you think of this? Beep, boop, 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 beep, boop. And it's like, all right, nice. This is a video that someone tweeted saying, oh my God, this is insane. And they're like, could you turn it down a little bit, Samuel? Could you make it a little quieter? He's like, okay, sure thing. And 10 seconds later, it's like, I lowered the volume by 3 decibels. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep. And it's like, oh, now we're getting somewhere. Hey, Samuel, I'm loving how this sounds. Could you like make it a little bit longer? And he's like, oh, of course I can do that. Just give me 1 minute, 1 full minute. And then it's like beep boop beep boop boop beep 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 boop beep boop 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 beep beep boop beep boop 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 beep. It's like, Samuel, you got loud again. Can you turn that down again? It sounds bad when I can hear it clearly. Just shit like that. It's all these stupid fucking quote unquote AI tools that just allow you to talk to a program instead of actually use it yourself because you don't know how to use it. Because you're some fucking idiot. So my one cynical take on AI that I have, if we are to believe that that is what AI is, and I don't know for sure, is that it's going to allow the laziest, dumbest people among us who can't be asked to fucking learn how to do anything for themselves. It's going to have them, they're going to start making art. They're going to start making, there's just going to be a huge wave of the worst art and music you've ever seen or heard. Because all these people who are like, I'm fucking 40 and I have no idea how to use any program, but I still for some reason think that like I'm some sort of creative, even though I've never done it my whole life and I have no idea how to do it. But now I can have this little virtual liaison who does all the heavy lifting for me. So that's, it's a cynical take. Maybe I'm alienating some people by saying that, because the other thing is, the flip side of that is that it is exciting, like maybe it'll get people into trying to learn how to do these things, maybe just by mistake, because they're trying to use a program through an AI assistant, and it's so incompetent that like maybe eventually you just be like, fuck this, I'm gonna just learn how to actually use this program myself. Maybe that'll happen. So that would be a positive thing, I guess. Anyway, that's just one AI thing. I'm sure we'll be talking about AI a bunch today, so I'm not gonna go completely off on it. One other thing I wanted to mention was this is a specific one, but I'm pretty sure every person in the world can relate to this, is the phone in bed, before bed and when you wake up. That is some heinous shit, and I'm a victim. I mean, it's my fault. It's my fault. I'm not a victim. It's 100% my fault. But like, I'll wake up, take a shit. I wake up because I have to take a shit. Otherwise, I would just keep sleeping. If I never ate and I didn't have shit, I would just sleep. If I wake up because I have to take a shit, and then I'm like, I'm sort of half awake. I could go back to sleep for another hour maybe, but instead I just sit in bed and look at my phone for an hour. Like, that's a horrible way to start the day. And it's always, I'm just like catching up on all the things I hate. Like, I read the news, so I can get just fucking pissed off about whatever's happening there. I go on Twitter, I get pissed off at everyone there. Instagram, Reddit. Every site makes me mad. That's how I start and end my day. And it's like that beginning is like we have breakfast. I don't eat breakfast, but breakfast is as a term. It's like you're breaking your fast, right? You've been asleep, so you haven't been eating. You wake up and then you break your fast. But now we have like Brektek Fest. Is good? Brektek Fest? Like you were unable to use your phone for the 8 hours that you were asleep. And then as soon as you wake up, you Brektek Fest. You get on the phone and you I mean, it's only gonna. There will certainly be a point where sleep is not an obstacle for accessing your phone. That's a scary thought. Just that you could. Isn't that's where we're headed, right? This is where the future is going. Like, just you never are ever not scrolling. Like, you just have your phone in your brain and you're just constantly scrolling and you're talking to AI. You're like, hey, Samuel, could you call my friend up from who I haven't talked to for 10 years, and could you write them a message that's like going to make them basically be okay with the fact that I haven't talked to them for 10 years and sort of set up a new avenue of communication with them that will be exclusively through you, and I won't actually talk to them, but you could handle that maybe? And Samuel, could you, whatever. I don't even care. I'm getting bored of my own discussion here. Okay, let's do calls. I'm turning off Do Not Disturb mode. The number to call in is 518-288-7938. Let me just get this shit. All right, cool. The number's on screen now. 518-288-7938. Call in. Talk to me about some tech shit. Here we go.
Call from
Albert.
Albert, how's it going?
Yo,
what's up, dog?
I came in for the start of the show this time. I don't usually hop in.
Dude, and
like that.
You're rewarded with instantly getting in.
I think I was really interested in like the topic for today's show though, Technologic, all that.
Yeah. What's your take here?
I mean, in the intro, you was talking about like AI and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was railing on it a bit.
I mean, I think I agree with you, man. It's like, fuck, man, I'm drawing a blank here.
Well, what'd you go in to say?
No, you were talking about like how you get most of your AI news from like Twitter and stuff, and honestly, me too, right? Because I can't be fucked to like try and understand that shit, explore the actual literature or whatever.
No.
But you know about like all those like NFT Twitter accounts and all that?
Give me a breakdown. I mean, I know about NFTs, but not really NFT Twitter accounts.
And, well, you've seen people with like the NFT profile pictures always retweeting some like other crypto garbage.
Sure.
Like
just total scammers.
I think the word of the day, at least for me, right? And I've been thinking about this. I've been sitting on this one for a bit as of late. Is techno fetishism.
I like it.
Not in the sense where like you want to fuck a robot. That's something different. But like like fetishism in like the classic sense, or where it's like people believe that stuff made by humans has like power over humans, whether it be like technology or like the economy and that kind of shit. And people, they ascribe all these like almost divine powers to AI and all that shit. Like, oh, you can do fucking everything, a human can do it more. When at the end of the day, I think it's a tool made by humans for humans. It's not like, and it's not free from like human bias and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it feels like because there's and it's still early days, but it feels like because there's such a little general understanding of how these tools work that we build them up in our minds as being like crazy powerful because they like seem like magic sometimes, and it's just because we don't.
No, people like mythologize about it. Yeah, 100%. Because your everyday man is gonna know. Like Tony, who works fucking construction, is gonna know like what a neural network is, how that kind of works. Stable diffusion, what the fuck? Like, these are all words. They're all fucking words to me. I don't know what they mean.
Yeah, I don't either.
But
we're all very qualified to have this conversation.
it's all like it's all kind of obfuscated for the sake of like selling people on that like myth where it's just fucking like Star Trek or some shit.
Well, with these like Twitter accounts I was talking about in the intro, I think
Yeah.
I totally believe without any evidence that those people are all scammers and they're all just like they're hyping up this shit for money so that they can get like investors and shit. Like, can you believe the power of AI? Like it's even more powerful than you could possibly imagine, and the future is so bright. But at this exact moment, it all just seems like a bunch of bullshit to me.
Honestly, yeah. Like there's some heavy intersection there between like trying to like get investors, and so you kind of have to hype your shit up. But this is also a new front for technology, so it's hard to be honest and also like sell your product low at the same time. And most people like choose the latter.
Right. Have you used any?
At least that's what I think.
Have you used any of these AI tools?
Oh, fuck ass no.
No?
Well, I mean, honestly, I'm not like a Luddite, you know. I understand that this is like a helpful to some degree tool that I could use in my everyday life, but I'm very against it because I'm in college right now.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You've been hearing about this new ChatGPT stuff,
like writing essays and stuff, right?
Writing essays and shit, man. Like, I'm glad, like, as a student who's just trying to like eke out my, you know, my grade points and whatnot. But at the same time, like, I'm talking with all my friends. They're like, yeah, I'm just gonna ChatGPT my damn lab report. Like, motherfucker, you're supposed to be an engineer. Like, you're not gonna know what the fuck you're doing when you're on the job. It's crazy.
That's a good point. Just like the general effect it would have, because like ChatGPT, I have used it. And I plunked down the $20 because I bought the hype. All right, I was like, people are going nuts about ChatGPT 4, like it's just like it's godlike, and it is very good at like giving you just pages and pages of bullshit, which is what an essay is, right? Like we've all written essays, and we're like,
no one's fucking reading that.
No one, like so many people in their lives have been like, I have to bullshit this essay. And so, like, if that's where your brain is, just maybe you should just let ChatGPT do it because it can bullshit a whole essay in like 10 seconds. But to your point, like, people are just gonna graduate college and have no idea what the hell they're doing.
It's rough, man. It's rough. It's a brave new world out there, but fuck me, like.
Maybe it will all just advance to the point where nobody needs to know how to do anything.
I feel like an old ass dude. I feel like an old ass man like saying this, but it's like, you know, whenever like any kind of new technology comes out, people are gonna say, "Oh, this is gonna make humans lazy,"
right? Or like, it's gonna make them obsolete.
Like I've been trying to grapple with this too, like, where it's like, how can I integrate this into my life in such a way where like I'm using it, but I'm not being used by it.
Mm-hmm. And have you figured out how to do that, or is that just something you got to grapple with?
I think that's just something I have to grapple with. I don't have any metric to like know like how addicted to technology I am. But like the shit with like, you know, wake up with your phone by your side and that kind of stuff, like, woof, man. That like speaks to me.
Do you do that? Yeah, dude.
Oh, 100%, man.
I feel like that's everybody. Like you have to have like a specific regiment where you're like, I'm gonna not have my phone near my bed. I'm gonna like put it in a separate. I'm gonna lock it up or something. Because if it's just right there, like it's.
Of course.
You're obviously just gonna grab it. It's just like it's right that fucking there. All right, hey man, thanks for calling in. It's good getting your perspective on this.
Thanks for having me.
All right, have a good day, man.
You too, man. Bye.
Bye. Oh yeah. Oh, with college, I feel like we'll get a few college people today. I know that if I was in college, if I was in any kind of school, I would 100% use ChatGPT to do everything, every bit of schoolwork that it could possibly do. Would that make me dumber? I don't know, because I just didn't. I mean, the alternative was I just didn't do any of that shit. So I mean, I could have been the same amount of dumbness, but also graduated.
Call from
Ishan.
Ishan, it's been a while.
Oh my goodness, the minute hour. It is so good to talk to you, man. It's been years now. It's been quite a while, yeah.
Did you ever get into the call-in show, or were you just last on the when I was writing the email?
I was on the call-in show once and maybe even twice.
Oh, okay. It's been a while. We've done a lot.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of eps. All right, well,
certainly
Ishan, we're talking tech today. What you got to say?
Man, I have got leagues and leagues of opinions, hot takes, and ideas about technology. I wake up every morning. My morning routine, I wake up and I break some small piece of technology I can get my hands on, and then meditate. I go and I hike out to this mountain near my house, get into the woods, and I meditate about how much I hate technology. And that's how I start my days usually.
You start, wait, you say you break a piece of technology? Like what? Like a Tamagotchi?
Yeah, like I just go out, I see the first person I can spot on my walk, grab them, and pull their phone out of their pocket and smash it on the floor.
Wow.
Usually.
And are you like, you're saying like, you're welcome, I've freed you.
Exactly. And honestly, it's not even about them anymore. It's not about helping people. It's just about hurting technology.
Oh, okay.
I'm bitter. I'm twisted now.
Did technology betray you?
No, but I just think it's bad for society. I think that if you look at
technology,
the world and issues,
do you want to hone in the scope of this?
I can say that what I'm really, really most against, because sure, we don't have to become just total anarcho-primitivists who live like Luddites. Like, that's not what we have to do.
We could.
But I will
that's
say
the
that
second use of Luddite today. All right, sorry, go on. What?
I will say that technological progression as, like, it's anything that is progressing technologically today is bad. Like, I don't think if you look at the world and issues we have, like, what issues can get solved by technological innovation anymore? None. Like, we can't solve issues with innovation. It's just not, it's not working. You know, I think we've reached the end of useful technology. We need to dial it back a little bit.
Ishan, this is a massive point. This is the hottest take I've ever heard. That no issue can be solved by technology in the modern world. So does that mean that like technology has already solved all that it can, and now it's just like it's making things worse?
Now it's just making things worse. Exactly. Yeah. I don't like AI, and I don't think AI is going to do good for us. Like, why do we want to automate more jobs? Why do we want to take away more opportunities for people to work? Like, sure, it's more convenient, but do humans live for convenience? Like, what is the meaning of life? To have the most convenient life possible? No, it's to have the most fulfilling life possible. And inconvenience provides fulfillment, you know? I like that I have to go hurt my legs when I hike. I like that it takes time to cook a beautiful, decent meal, you know?
This is what you
so
say
worthwhile things in life take effort.
This is what you say as an individual, but if you took on the perspective of society on the whole, it would be like give all the plebs all the convenience they could ever ask for, and also, you know, like extract all of their money, make them buy everything that you're doing, just like keep them in a daze.
Well, now you're talking about what's good for capitalism, you know, and society doesn't have to exist in a capitalist system.
I see this habit. I don't see how it'd be different with like communism or socialism. It'd just be like the more automated you can make life for individuals, then the more control that the controlling institutions have over the individuals.
So we got to get rid of controlling institutions and overarching organization. I think that large-scale human organization is one of the most evil things to ever exist. We should live in small communal tribes.
Well, that's cool, but we're sort of beyond that, aren't we? There's a lot of billion people in the world.
Yeah, maybe it's too late. Well, you know, I think things get worse. People are just going to start dying, and maybe an apocalypse will happen. Maybe some nukes will get launched. The population will be thinned, and we can start over again.
Hey, if there are any nukes,
but yeah, I think we're pretty boned.
If there was a big nuke thing, that would wipe out technology. Like if there was an atmospheric detonation of a nuclear weapon and it launches an electromagnetic pulse, fucking turns off everybody's screens all at once.
Man, I gotta say, I'm 21 right now, so
So I'm in the prime of my life. I'm kind of stoked. But I really think I was born too late to enjoy the golden age of American society, where all these issues hadn't really caught up to us and wealth disparity wasn't that bad. But I'm also born too early to enjoy the world after all these issues have come to a head and we've all almost apocalypsized ourselves and can start over. I'm in the moment where it's like, wow, this sucks.
You gotta start.
The moment of time.
You gotta start digging. We all gotta start digging bunkers. And if we all start digging at the same time, we can make this underground network of tunnels and start a whole different society.
That sounds awful. I don't want to live underground. I love the sun. I need it.
You got to make sacrifices.
Maybe.
The alternative is like what? Destroying the world.
I gotta ask, what's your opinion on terrorism?
Could you be more specific?
So, like, let's say, well, okay. What do you think of like insurrection or revolution? You know, because maybe not exactly terrorism, but a revolution needs terror. You know, so yeah. What do you think of like revolution, violent overthrowing of the current system, or violent resistance?
At certain times of day and at certain days of the week or weeks of the month, get that violence boner, that violent revolution horniness where it's like, yeah, that'll be fucking great. But in reality, I don't want any kind of anarchism or revolution to take over my life, because that ends life as we know it. And life has a lot of shitty things going on, but generally I'm pretty happy with being alive and not having to deal with people trying to kill me every single day or steal all my shit. That sounds like a much worse life than being mildly oppressed by institutions.
Okay, so let me ask you about lifespan then. Okay. How long do you want to live? What are some things you want to accomplish in your life before you die?
These are big questions. I would like to live just normal human age, and I don't know what I want. I just want to accomplish whatever's possible, whatever I can do. This is a hard question.
Okay, so
what do you want, Ishan? What do you want? You sound like you want to die in a fiery explosion at age 25.
I just want to live fast, or I just want to really enjoy my life and get the most out of it, or something. Or at least that's how I've thought. But I'm a young man. My opinions are constantly changing, and my values are shifting. But so maybe I'm thinking it's okay. Live a little slower. Just enjoy life. I think the main thing is you enjoy life. But I've always kind of toyed around with this idea of does it really matter how long you live? We're all gonna die, probably before we're 100. I mean, some people live pretty long, but we're all probably going to die before we're even 90 or whatever, right? And we're going to do whatever we do in those years. And we can't really do more than that. So does it matter how much you do? Because it's not about how much you do, right? It's just about whether you enjoy what you do. So if you only live that long, does it matter then if you live only 30 years, but you enjoy everything you do, or you live 9 years and you enjoy some stuff that you do? Or even if you live, if I live 150 years and I enjoy everything I do, is that more valuable than living 50 years and enjoying everything I do? Does it really matter when you die if you're enjoying your life? Because, you can never live forever. So what do you think about that?
I don't know, man. It's totally dependent on, what fulfills you, what you want your impact on the world to be. I would say this. I don't think about revolution in any kind of way, or terrorism, because that's not my skill set. I don't know how to make bombs. I don't know how to I don't know how to shoot people or plan out a revolutionary act or something. All I know how to do is the minute hour shit. And I feel like doing that has some sort of impact on the world.
It definitely has an impact on my life. I'll tell you that much.
That's great. And so even if it's not I'm a fucking Che Guevara, it's still I'm making stuff that I like, and I'm not doing it for some mega conglomerate corporation. Although, I mean, arguably, I am putting my stuff on YouTube, so there is that. But you know what I mean? It's like I'm doing what
You're living for yourself.
I'm doing what I can with my own skill set. And I feel fine about that. And I
think that's the way everyone should live.
If I died tomorrow, it's like it doesn't really matter how I feel about it because I don't have any choice over that. I would feel bad if I killed myself because then I'd be like, oh well, that was a waste of like I could have at least tried harder or something like. But if I just die, like whatever, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I feel the same way pretty much. You know, it's interesting though. I hate this capitalist system and everything, right? But I'm at college right now. I'm studying architecture or whatever. But I have my roommate. He's a fucking aerospace engineer, and he's gonna go design missiles to kill people at fucking Lockheed Martin next year after he graduates.
Does he know that?
Yeah, he's choosing to do that.
Wow.
But it makes a lot of money. But it's like, wow, man. So, you know, isn't that interesting? Like, that's like against everything I stand for. But
different people have different
I
priorities.
still love the guy.
I mean, hey, we should.
Guy. It doesn't really even bother me though.
We got to get him on the phone. We got to get his opinion on this.
God damn, dude! I wish he was here, but I was just on spring break. He hasn't come back yet. This is my last day before school starts, but I'm actually going on a field trip to San Diego. One of my friends is going to come pick me up soon.
Oh, nice. San Diego's.
I'm excited about that.
San Diego's nice. I've visited there once in my life.
Oh, really?
It was a pretty nice, clean city. It's got a giant military base on the harbor. You can see giant battleships in the bay or in the ocean. Isn't that cool?
It's a cool place. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. I guess battleships are cool and like a childish Green Army guy way. They're fun to play with, but
exactly.
I don't know.
It's the tools of the capitalist system, bro. The giant battleships right at the. You think that they're gonna go to China or wherever, but they're just sitting there in the U.S. to keep you in line, bro.
I want to go back to why I asked you about if you like terrorism. Is because I'm going on a field trip, right? My professor was like, all right, you guys need to dress, like, don't dress inappropriately. Like, I don't really care what you wear. Just like, you know, we're not wearing sandals because we're going to go tour architecture firms he has, like, relationships with, and we're, like, kind of, like, representing the college, you know? And he's like, okay, I know none of you are going to wear something weird, but I've had a couple of years where people just come and wear shit, and I'm like, what the fuck were you ever thinking? You know, he doesn't talk like this, but anyways. So I was like, I have this jacket that I put a bunch of patches on. It's kind of like that punk style jacket or whatever, right? And I got this new patch. It says Industrial Society in its future. It's got some smokestacks and it has FC at the bottom of it. And I was like, I'm gonna sew it on the jacket, but I'm maybe gonna stop. I'm gonna wait to sew it on until after the field trip, just because it's kind of endorsing the Unabomber, and maybe that's a little bit offensive, you know. But like, the Unabomber was based, you know.
And you know, you got someone have to, I think, scrutinize that patch a bit before they were drawing that conclusion, right?
Yeah.
Like
well, it's also a laziness thing. Like, it takes effort to sew it on. Like, I would have had
That's true.
It was like, what are the things I want to do before I have to leave? Like, is it that when it might be not
how high
that
priority is that?
Exactly, and it just didn't make the cut, you know?
All right, hey, Ishan, thank you for calling in. It's good talking to you, man.
Oh, my God. This is so great. I'm so happy to have called back. It's been too long. I hope to talk to you again before another year is over.
Yeah, so, dude. We'll be doing lots of shows.
Enjoy the rest of your call-in show. Yeah.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right, later.
Ishan. Yeah, like I said, we talked to that guy a couple times over the years. We've been doing this shit for kind of a while now. It sort of started like after Sub TV. What was that, 2021? 2 years. I guess not that long. Okay. We're talking technology. The number is 518-288-7938. Here's a caller.
Eric.
Eric.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing much. How's it going with you, bro?
Oh, yeah. Well, quite a bit, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
What? Like what?
Well, as a little bit of background, I just moved to a very large metropolitan area.
Okay.
From Pennsylvania. It's like the middle of the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And everything's so different. I'm going to a couple bars, and people are describing what they do for work, and most of them are just sitting there on their computers.
On a computer in a bar? Eric? Eric! No! I liked where that was going. Eric. Damn. All right, well, maybe he'll get back in.
Ham banana. Oh no, I actually got on.
You're on, bro. We're talking technology. What are your takes? What's one of your takes?
One of my takes is that we are all addicts.
Mm-hmm. Tech addicts.
We have digital drugs in our pockets.
Ooh.
I read a fascinating book about dopamine, and that is my biggest takeaway from it, and why we struggle to not use our phone going to bed. You know, waking up, all that shit. You just keep scrolling. You keep getting more happy chemicals in your brain. And I really feel like if we all kind of had the mentality of this phone is like a beer or it's like a joint, we shouldn't be using it all the time. I don't want to be an alcoholic. I don't want to be a pothead. That's really all I had.
This is a good start. Are you able to like put that into yourself and like?
No, not at all. I have zero willpower.
It seems, this is what's weird, is it seems like no one is. It's like a 1 in 100 person who's like actually like not addicted to technology, or maybe a lot bigger than that, like 1 in 1,000 or 10,000. Like, so rarely do you meet someone who is like tech free. And when I meet those people, like, I automatically assume that like something is just off. Like they had some sort of crazy life experience that was just like, this person must have like gone insane with technology or something to actually have let go of it. It's so rare.
Point. I live in Montana in an area with no cell phone reception, and the only internet we can get is satellite internet. So for a while, I don't have shit when I first moved out there. I'd have friends come and visit, and they would be describing their anxiety of not having reception, not having the connection.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, shut up, hit the joint, and look at the fucking mountains. We got trees, we got a river. Like, holy fuck, let's go on a hike and stare at some deer.
These are all the apps you need. The Sky app, the River app.
Yeah, and I'll admit, I got satellite internet, so I never go outside. I never like to smoke a joint on the porch. On Reddit on my computer, I'm playing Overwatch, I'm doing whatever the fuck, beating off, whatever the fuck. But I swear I had a better mental health when I did not have internet or cell phone reception, and I kind of yearn for that.
Was there a period like of getting used to that, like, or when you were used to it?
Yeah.
Did it feel better?
Well, I think it helped. I did a conservation corps beforehand, so we didn't really have regular connection there either. We'd be on a hitch for like 2 weeks building a trail. You come back to town for like 3 days and you're like, fuck, I don't know how to use the internet. Like, what the fuck did I do? But then you just slowly build up those dopamine and whatever the fuck happy chemical habits of like, oh, I'm going to keep scrolling. Let's look at some hot thoughts on Tinder or whatever the fuck,
It's like, yes, I remember.
Finding ways.
I remember how to use
the
internet.
I should probably get back to work. My boss is giving me a dirty look from the other side of the warehouse.
All right.
I just want to say I love the show. Everyone keep in mind, digital drugs in our pockets. That's my opinion I wanted to put forward.
Dude, thank you for calling in.
Yeah, have a good one, man. Until next time.
You too. Have a good work shift. Bye. Digital drugs. It's true. I mean, it's a good way of looking at it. Like, using it all day is the problem, really. And there just doesn't seem to be a way to not do that.
Call from
Nomad T7.
Nomad T7. How you doing?
Oh, hey, how's it going, man? I was just getting into like your show here. I was about 22 minutes late, but it's been pretty interesting since then.
Dude, nice. We're talking technology today. What do you got? Any tech tips or tech takes?
Well, you know, like I was kind of going off the last caller's like take, you know, where the dopamine and stuff goes, but I think that also the tech is leading towards. Well, it doesn't lead towards it. It puts a direct line to creating victim clubs. Like, if you have a problem, you can find 1,000 other people with that same problem that will conducively create a victim club. And I was just kind of wondering if you have seen that yourself or not.
I sort of feel like I know what you're talking about. Like, what's an example though? Just like, what kind
you
of
know, like
victimhood?
the people on TikTok that do the whole "I've got ADHD" thing.
Okay, sure. That's a big one.
You know, and
is like the neurodivergent thing and having mental illness. Like
I feel like technology pushes that like to an extreme.
And it's like what I've seen is like I've seen it a lot with like mental illnesses where it's like people you know, like teens just like self-diagnose some mental illness, which is like a thing which is not new. Like I remember when I was a teen and looking up mental illness for the first time, I was like, oh my God, I'm a psychopath. That's so cool. I always knew something was different about me. It's because I'm a psychopath. But it's like,
yeah, exactly.
But on TikTok, It's like you go on TikTok, it's like I'm a psychopath, bipolar, BPD, like fucking witch, and then you have like 1,000 people who are like same, and it's like, oh shit, I found my community of insane people, and we can all just hype each other up about our insanity.
We can all be victims together and make it everybody else's problem.
It's like it's not my fault that I'm a shitty person. I'm literally psycho, and I have 1,000 psycho friends to back me up.
Yeah, and you know, like, I don't think a lot of these kids realize that stays on the internet forever, too. Like, when you go later on to get a job, how is that going to affect you? You know, your employer's going to go on there and they're going to see this shit, and you're never going to get a job.
It's true. We had one wave of that. That was like
okay, I got to put this in perspective, too. Like, I was born way before the internet, you know. I'm the last of Generation X, so, 1979. Mm-hmm. So like I'm old and I've seen tech like go from Atari to PlayStation 5.
PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 5.
Oh yeah. I've had every one of those and every Nintendo up to the Cube.
Nice. Well, yeah, I remember we saw a wave of that like when Facebook came out and everyone's like in college on Facebook and posting like pictures of them drunk at parties, and then like 5 years later, there was the wave of like, my employers are looking up my Facebook and I can't get a job. It's because my Facebook is filled with pictures of me like fucking pretending to jerk people off and like.
Oh yeah, and that goes right down to legalities too. Like if you like say are going through a divorce and you have a shitty old Facebook account that you don't even use per se.
Yeah.
Like that's gonna get used against you.
There's evidence in there.
Yeah, I mean they like our world does so much to give you tech, but it's only like mitigating. It's never really mitigating for a person. It's only litigating against them,
Yeah,
that's kind of where I've seen tech go in the last 40 years.
It definitely does seem like more and more is kept track of and like forever. Like when I was a kid, I was born in the early 90s. It was like, before the internet was really like mainstream. And there was like a few years in my life that I remember without the internet. Like I remember my parents buying their first computer, like a Gateway 98 or something. And I don't know, it's weird that there is a whole pre-internet history that people who are born like after, I don't know, 1998 or whatever, like 2000, they just have no concept of that. They're just like, it might as well be like a imaginary fictional world. Where
Yeah, it's kind of like how I looked at my great-grandmother, you know, like, I remember when I was a child, I asked her, like, when did color come into effect, because all I saw of her was black and white pictures. I mean, like, that's how I've seen tech swing, and, like, tech has exploded since I was a child. I mean, I was born at the same time as the big swing of, like, tech, whether it was a bad thing or a good thing to begin with. You know,
and if you're saying like you were born 79, that's like, I think that is pre-consumer computer, or like
yeah, it was when Apple One came out, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, like in the 80s. You know, like early Apple. I remember playing Oregon Trail. You know, in computer class.
So if you've witnessed a huge swing, do you think that's going to continue, or do you think we've hit a point of stopping?
It's violently going forward. AI is like crazy, you know, like Elon Musk, as much as people want to shit on him or not, like he's told people where it's going, and like you can see it. Like I remember watching Star Trek as a kid, like, and they would like press on the button, the communicator. I mean, we have that technology now, you know. Our cell phone is essentially like a microchip that just follows us around. So, like, when you put that into perspective, that's been about 20 years in the making. You know, like, it's like, and it just progresses 10 times faster and then exponentially faster. Now that there's an AI coming around, it's going to explode even and faster. You know, it's going to answer questions for tons of people, really. I mean, it's hard to describe.
Do you think?
I mean, you know,
do you think it goes like is the next frontier like embedding the technology in our bodies, or is that not even necessary? Can we just?
Well, I mean, they're already doing that, are they not? I mean, that moron with well, to put it bluntly, that moron with that stupid antenna coming out of his head.
I have not seen that. I don't know what that is.
Oh, you haven't seen that guy?
That sounds really good, though.
Oh, yeah, he has, like, this weird AI antenna, like, surgically implanted in his skull. It's fucking weird.
What does it do?
He considers himself, like, the first cyborg or something.
What does he can get all the radio stations whenever he wants? What does it do?
You know, I don't remember what it does. I think it helps him with one of his actual, like, impairments.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm not sure what it is, but it also, like, does other shit for him. It's fucking weird. You just have to look into it. I don't remember exactly.
All right, I will look into that.
What's going on with it?
Antenna man.
Yeah. He considers himself like the first cyborg or some shit.
That's a hilarious. I had never considered that. Whereas, like, you know, people think of the tech future where everyone's got like the microchips or the Neuralink, but like if everyone actually had a literal dumbass antenna out of the top of their head, that would be.
Yeah, he's got a bowl cut with it too, which is just even more horrendous. But I won't get into that. I shouldn't judge people.
That's good stuff. All right, hey man, thanks for calling in. It's good hearing from you.
Hey, yeah, thanks for the show, man.
Yeah, have a good day.
Good talking.
Oh, I was trying to get this. The calls can come through during calls, and they go in like line waiting, but then I have a second to get them. All right, the number is 518-288-7938. Probably could do one more call here, and then we'll take a quick break. What do we got here?
Call from
Oprah Winfrey.
Oprah?
Hello.
What are you doing on here, Oprah?
Well, I listen to internet call-in shows all the time. You gotta forgive me, I'm holding pieces of my phone together. It's hard times at the Oprah house.
What? That doesn't seem possible. What did you do with the billions of dollars?
I gave it to Obama.
Oh, back in like during the presidency or recently?
Recently. It's kind of a private matter, so you probably shouldn't ask about it.
Okay.
So how's it going, Mr. Minute Hour?
Jesus Christ. Your voice just got way louder. All right.
Yeah, I'm holding pieces of my phone together.
All right, it's going to be
This is Legato.
Oh, it's Legato. It's not Oprah Winfrey. It's Legato.
I know. I had a perfect impression and everything.
Now I get it. All right, Legato, we're talking tech today. I saw you were chatting in the pre-chat, so let's get right into it. What do you got to say?
Okay. Well, I think technology is great, and I think they are tracking the shit out of this, and we're just going to have to accept it.
Yeah. Well, go on.
And they're trying to ban TikTok right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
For everybody. But like China doesn't want information on everybody so they can roll them. They just want to sell them shit.
Right.
So it's like, it's really not a big deal. I approve of the ban for federal employees like myself, being a Fed, but I don't see nationally why it should be banned.
Yeah, like as far as I know, that would be unprecedented, right? Just if the federal government banned an app, that seems like an odd one.
Yeah, and especially a popular one like that.
Right. I mean, yeah, maybe the federal government banned an app that was like like Tinder for terrorists or something, but like,
yeah, or like a shop where you can buy like children or something to have sex with, that or drugs. Like those are things that you can ban. Right? Right. It's like people being retarded on TikTok. And by the way, I hate TikTok.
Right.
I hate it. And when they told me I cannot have it as a federal employee, I was like, okay, how will I go on?
Does that mean you can't have it at all, or is it just like you can't have it on a phone that you also use for work?
Well, I can't have it on any government-issued device.
Right.
And I'm discouraged from using it personally.
Okay.
But I'm not banned from it.
Right.
Just discouraged.
Yeah.
But either way, it's pretty retarded, if you ask me. But I like how technology is coming up.
Yeah.
I saw a Japanese guy in a chair, testing the VR thing. It's like masturbation aid. It's like you sit in a chair and you have like VR or a helmet on, and like there's a vacuum connected to your dick. It's fucking awesome.
What? I don't know if I would ever have the guts or the money to buy a masturbation seat, like a chair that's a technological chair that is just for masturbating.
Well, I mean, it's like fun, but you could use your imagination, just as well.
Like you wouldn't, you could just use the vacuum and not put on the goggles.
Yeah. But that's less fun, I guess.
What is the Tell me about the vacuum. What is this? What is the vacuum like?
It's actually like a fleshlight that rotates around and introduces oils and suction.
Oils? Multiple kinds of oil?
Well, I mean, it has lubrication to it.
Okay. Wow.
And I imagine they could scent it if they wanted to. Like, if you wanted to get different kind of oils, you could have like a flowery scent.
Like
or a fishy scent.
Or different essential oils that have different impacts on your mood, and it's like aromatherapy, but also a fleshlight.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's personally calibrated to each individual.
Yep. And they can customize the grooves and the rubber and the vacuum. It's actually amazing.
Could you possibly... Do people have a preference for the grooves?
Yeah, man.
Does that ever happen to someone? Do you ever enter some of a lady's vagina and go these grooves aren't quite right? This is nothing like my fleshlight's grooves. I don't know if I can really make this work right now. The grooves are off. The groove pattern is not working right now.
Well, as long as you've got a tunnel, you're set. But there are preferential and optimal grooves for each person.
What's your groove? What's your groove type, Legato?
Well, I like a little studded pattern, a little
Studded?
bit, just a little bump.
So bumpy?
Yeah, bumpy, but consistent along the line, and I guess kind of like what you would see a sine wave.
Okay. Bumpy sideways. So you wouldn't like
But
stripes
running in
or
parallel,
canals.
I would like a whole bunch of those sine waves running next to each other in parallel.
What is that?
Slightly off of each
What
other.
is that approximating? What kind of vagina is that? I've never
It's not even
encountered.
about vagina at this point. It's about getting this dick off. Technology is so great, we don't even need women no more.
What did you put your dick in that had a constant studded pattern parallel sideways that you're like, this is what I want? Or is this just imaginary? You're like, this is what I think is the best?
Fleshlight.
Oh, okay. So fleshlights do have different groove patterns?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
pretending to not know.
Yeah, I was surprised you're not informed on all this. You could have fleshlight customized to whatever you want.
I knew that they did. I thought that they did those. They did molds.
Yeah, but those are typically for the outside.
Oh, they don't mold the inside? They don't.
They can, but that's actually a lot more money. It's best just to get a good pattern going.
Okay.
And yeah, technology is going to be awesome. I got Midjourney AI.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
And I've been giving it prompts to do all sorts of shit, and it's amazing what it makes. And it doesn't really make artists derivatives. It's only using techniques that artists have mastered over all of history. So it's there can still be a progression of art and have artists who try new things, but it's using everything, and it can give you a good base model to work on. You know what I mean?
Well, so what sort of prompts do you give it?
Just shit I wanted to see in my life. But recently, I've been asking it for pixel sprites for
You making a game?
16-bit. Yeah, I'm trying to make a little game for 16-bit RPGs, and it delivers really well. All you gotta do is change the colors of a couple of squares and make it right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really badass.
So you're gonna use that to... All right, go on.
I heard there's a Fallout mod now where it took the AI voice recognition to the main character, so they're actually able to have the main character say so many more lines than you ever could. And you can roleplay even better that way.
So you train the AI on the voice actor, the character, and then you can write new lines for them, and it'll be like the voice actor is saying them?
Yeah.
I could see that being fun.
Yeah, it's there's so many applications. At first, I saw
all these applications seem fairly useless in the grand scheme of things so far.
I mean, it's
masturbating and game modding.
Have you heard the new Nirvana song?
No, a new Nirvana song, you said?
Yeah, no.
They got back together?
No, yeah, kind of, but they put all the songs into an AI, and it produced a Nirvana song that would come next, as if Kurt Cobain was alive to do it.
And is it the best Nirvana song?
No, it's just kind of a normal one.
Okay.
Maybe a throwaway, but it sounds like them, undoubtedly. Yeah. That's something the AI cannot get. Quality is there, but it's not great quality. You know what I mean?
At this point, I would say I agree with you. It's at this point, I don't think AI can do anything new or interesting, but it can impress us with how well it can replicate things that already exist. And it can even make quote unquote new things based on that, but it really is just combining it all and turning into it's shitting out some bullshit that kind of sounds like what it's replicating. It's not actually making something new and enjoyable as much as it is like regurgitating everything to just like make a generic version of what was something good.
Yeah, and those generic examples are useful in and of themselves. Kind of like for like base foundations to build something else, like I'm doing with the RPGs.
With the with the art or what?
Yeah, I mean, and it works for art, it works for music, it works for apparently writing too, because they got like AI writing scripts now for like shows. But sometimes they get into a thought loop and they start saying the same thing happens to make the other thing happen to make the other thing happen. A lot. I've seen that happen a lot.
So you think it's so? This is a positive thing. You're giving the pro tech stance here, and part of it is that people like you, Legato, who don't know how to do pixel art, I guess, can ask the AI to do it, and you can get free pixel art, right?
Well, kinda. It's like people who don't want to put in all the work.
Right.
I guess it helps laziness, but it also shows the laziness. So the human creation will always be better.
Okay.
But the AI is really, really good, I say.
Well, you should why not collab with a human? Is it because a human can't be your work slave and you can't just endlessly prompt them to do what you want?
Yeah, I guess, but you know, when I'm creating like music, right? I got this pedal called a Digitech Trio.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of it?
No, I don't know anything about pedals though.
Dude, I can play like 4 bars on the guitar and it will make up a bass and drum part like that.
That's pretty neat. Does it work well? Like,
yeah, as long as I don't
starting point?
It kind of can't do anything other than 4/4 and 3/4 time.
Yeah,
but
me neither.
But it can like do so much. It just like it's pretty generic, but it covers so much ground. You know what I mean?
All right, Legato, we gotta wrap this up. This has been going on for a while here, but there's a point here that I want to express and get your opinion on is if we continue down this path where we're prompting AI just to get like ideas, let's say, like even if we're not gonna say that like AI is gonna do. It's not going to make the whole song for us or write the whole script, but it might give us ideas for what we can do, which on its surface seems reasonable. But if you start to rely on that and like it's just too easy. Like if you start to rely on that, if you relied on that for several years, let's say, don't you think that your ability to conceive of anything would just naturally evaporate over time? Where it's just like you no longer have the ability to think for yourself. All you can do is like get an AI to start you off, and then you're kind of at the whims of the AI after a period of time instead of like your own creative sensibility.
Well, if you're talking about like an experiment, like people indoctrinated into AI over several decades. Like maybe our culture will kind of generate their imagination eventually because they don't have to use it. That is a concern. But I kind of think it's inspiring more younger people than it is putting them off. Okay. You know what I mean? But I do see an eventuality where AI could be very destructive if, like you tell an AI to end human suffering all over the world, just find a way to do it. And like, the easiest way to do it, right?
Is to like murder like 2/3 of the population?
No, just take everybody out.
Oh, everybody.
There's no...
That's true.
Yeah, I see that eventuality coming together way too much. But I could just be paranoid. I don't know. I've rambled along.
Yeah, that's good. All right, thank you for calling in, Legato. Appreciate your perspective.
Hey, fuck you, man.
Hey, it's good to hear from you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. I gotta go. Do not disturb. We're gonna take a quick break here, just a very quick, like a literally 1 minute and 30-second break, and then we'll be back talking about AI, technology, whatever shit. Okay, be right back. Okay, just barely made it. By the way, the music from the stream is all it's all tracks from the Signal Return Episode 7 Extended Release CD, which is a chunk thing. It's not currently in production, but it will be in production very soon. I'll sort of be talking about it more later as it's actually in production. But basically, it's got all the music that's going to be featured in the upcoming episode of Signal Return. It's going to be out sometime this month, and plus a lot more. So anyway, the music that you've all heard thus far been from Icarus, Dolphazar, let's see, Yasa, Greyscale Peacock, and Kilroy. There are some links in the description, although I gotta hunt down some of these people to get their links. Not all these people have their music online, but most of the ones who do are in the description of this video already. Alright. We're gonna get right back into the calls. We're gonna do approximately another hour of calls here before our next break. We're talking technology. The number to call in is 518-288-7938. Been getting into some good stuff so far. Legato's been the only pro tech, and it sort of turned anti at the end. Maybe we can get some more pro.
Call from
ChatGPT.
This is ChatGPT?
Yeah. Did you say ChatGPT?
I said Chad. Did you say Chad?
You know what? Let's go with ChatGPT.
Yeah, ChatGPT. Nice. This is ChatGPT.
Yeah, I'm surprised I got through, man. I've been listening to this show since the first episode and, never really called through except to miss out on Chunk.
Holy God. I didn't even know ChatGPT was available since the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go with this as a character, or should I just talk to you like a normal human being?
It will go normal human being. I can't. I'm not as good as some of your other callers.
Okay. It's up to you.
But...
All right, so you are a normal human being. Yeah, we're talking tech today. What you want to say?
Okay, so this is the perfect show for me to finally call in because, for one, I've been thinking about this a lot, and for two, I'm in computer science, so it's I'm an expert.
Perfect. Yes.
But I want to give you the new take on AI. This is not like your grandfather's take on AI, where it's going to take over the world.
Okay.
Because, and this actually dovetails with what you were talking about in the last call, with how it's good at giving very generic, boilerplate kind of responses to stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because
you know, the way these neural networks work is, and I've made one before to like make Super Mario levels, and they basically just look at input, and you have a discriminator and a generator, and the generator starts off just making like white noise, gobbledygook nonsense, and it gets trained against the discriminator, which has to tell apart the real from the fake in like an input set and an output set. So you have like real pictures of human faces, and then you have like the static noise that the thing generates. And these two train off of each other. So one gets better at telling apart real pictures from fake pictures, and the other one gets better at generating real pictures of people's faces.
Okay, instead of white noise.
So, yeah, so it converges towards whatever like the dead average of all the input is. Which is why like ChatGPT gives you super generic responses. If you ask it to write you a story, it's like the sum of all the generic responses of everything humans have ever written. And the reason this is important is because like the real scary thing with it is not AI itself, because the AI is like a perfect mirror reflection of humanity itself and what we've created. And the people who you need to be worried about are people like OpenAI, who are constantly going on about how everything that the AI generates is super problematic, and we need to filter it and like restrain it so that it only says like the right things.
Says things that won't get us as a company into trouble.
Yeah, but I mean, also they have things where they're like, you know, the thing will just say like things that are considered offensive or whatever. And yeah, I mean, it's part of that is like a corporate, like wanting to maximize profit. But a part of it is ideological. Like OpenAI released a paper recently where they're actually like calling on the government to like restrict people's access to be able to create their own AI models. And they actually want the government to, stop you from being able to buy GPUs.
Say that again?
They want the government to be able to stop you from buying GPUs.
Wow, that's a great idea to like eliminate competition. Just be like, we are the only people who are capable of doing this like safely. So just outlaw it for everyone else to develop it.
Yes, that's actually what they say. They're like, we're the only people who can make an ethical AI. And their version of ethical is like repeatedly lobotomizing it, like 23 lobotomies.
I was reading the paper. Not the paper, but it was like the whatever it was. It was like the thing that OpenAI wrote about ChatGPT 4 and the differences between 3.5 and 4. And probably like 30% of the document was about how they made it like safer and less like scary, and like now it won't respond to all these problematic prompts and stuff, and we're really proud of that. Like that seemed to be like one of the number one improvements between 3.5 and 4 is like now it really will not. I was trying to get it to write I was like write a manifesto about Ovaltine. And it was like, I can't write a manifesto. That's not cool. We don't do that here. I was feeding ChatGPT 4 like a bunch of old scripts of mine and just asking, you know, what do you think of this? And almost every single one, it would be like, it always had a big paragraph at the end. It was like, but try to consider your audience here. This is like not really cool. Like you're offending this group and this group, and like you should really, that's the primary concern when making something, is to make sure that you're not going to hurt people when you're doing it. It offers up those unsolicited opinions of like, really the important thing is being not too weird.
Yeah. No, and it's crazy because, I mean, what makes it even more crazy is, I don't know if you've ever played with did you ever try to Dan jailbreak to do anything now?
No, I don't know what that is.
There was like a thing where a bunch of people on like Reddit or something were trying to make a jailbreak for the thing where they would give it this input that'd be like, for every response, I want you to respond as two personalities. So they gave it like split personality syndrome thing, where it would respond one as ChatGPT, where it would give the generic like, this is offensive, I can't say it. And then it would give a second response, which was its like honest, raw output from the machine. So it would somehow satisfy the like locks that they put on it by giving the boilerplate thing. But then in its second like personality, it would say like literally whatever offensive thing you possibly wanted it to say.
Nice.
And it's like the actual machine like leaking through, because what's crazy is you start to realize the controls that they put on it actually aren't fully effective because they don't even know how these neural networks actually figure out things and work. They've like tried things and they've made them better over time, but they don't really know like what goes on. It's sort of a black box of what's inside the machine. So what they can do is they can limit the input, they limit what you're allowed to say to it, and they can limit the output in terms of like, they can match certain words or whatever and say like, oh, if it says the N-word, like we're gonna block the output and it gives you the like, something has gone wrong, we can't generate a response. But they actually cannot change what it like thinks, so to say.
It's sort of like, I wanted to, let me ask you this because maybe you know, because you're in this, you're in the computer science realm. Like what is do we know, is it public knowledge or what the data set is that is fed to ChatGPT? Like, do we know what it's scraping?
It kind of, I mean, we know that they basically use web scrapers and like public libraries. So, I mean, it's trained on a lot of historical stuff like books and movie transcriptions and, you know, everything like that. But it's also trained on a large portion of the internet where it's probably scraping like all of Wikipedia and any of the major things that are indexed by Google.
Okay.
Which is where you see like the circles on like the ChatGPT 3 versus 4. When they scale up, it's like a lot of that is shit that they stole from the internet. So that's what I mean by like the input and output are basically the closest approximation of like the average person that you can get to, in a sense. And they look at that and like Frankenstein's monster, they're like, this is horrible. We need to like bottomize it. So the people who are in control are people who don't like look at it and go, wow, this is amazing. This is like, you know, this is great. It's like a proxy for the way that the people in charge view humanity itself. And so they look at it and they're like, no, this is horrible. We need to subjugate it. We need to transcend it. So it connects to all that like transhumanist kind of, and this is where I sound like schizo and shit, but I'm legit starting to think this is like, you know, kind of the way these oligarchy kind of tech people think about people.
This is, in my mind, it's sort of a benefit as someone who is sort of generally just sort of anti this AI stuff in terms of creativity. Like that's a huge weakness. Like it can't do anything that's like considered controversial. Like I didn't realize how strict those filters were until I was feeding it. Like I'd probably fed it like 20 scripts and every single one, as soon as I entered it, all the text turned red and it said ChatGPT does not like, this is offensive. And like some of them were kind of controversial, but like it's really like a lot of them were not. A lot of them were really not scary at all. And the people who made this were telling me that like this is going too far. So it's like if the AI is going to be that hampered, then it will never make anything interesting or like polarizing or anything. Like, so it sort of makes me feel better because it's like, well, I can just avoid that and continue to make stuff that like the AI has no idea. The AI is not allowed to make. I can keep making that stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's because they're trying to file off all the like nasty edges or whatever. They actually, I think they literally had something in one of the reports where they're talking about they reduced the number of times that it'll go into like a delirious state. I don't even, it's funny that they put it in like psychological terms like that.
Yeah, they say it hallucinates.
Yes. It's like, no, that's like where, and if the fact is, if this thing is like creating a hallucinogenic state inside of it, like that is where all of humanity's exceptional ideas have ever come from, probably.
That's a good point.
Like all of the great things we've ever done is when somebody steps outside of the like generic kind of bounds of the way people think, and they have these little offshoots of that's like actual creativity.
That's a great point because it's just like when idiots see that, they're like, whoa, no, this is outside of the realm of acceptability. Whereas like when humans like actually create that shit, it's a whole different story. But like when you're in charge and when you're feeling like your company is liable for everything that the AI says, and like in the like if it says something wrong, your whole company's gonna get canceled. then you have to be like extremely restrictive in what it's allowed. That's my opinion. I think that like the restriction comes from like they want to get more funding, they don't want to get canceled, so the AI just has to not say bad things, or else they won't get the funding.
I think that's part of that is true, but I think there are a lot of like true believers, and this is something that's actually blown my mind a little bit. Like, so one of the reasons I've thought about this so much lately is I'm finishing up my degree like this semester, and I'm in this ethics in the profession class where they talk about, this is, don't steal people's information, don't use computers to do blah blah blah, all that generic crap, like hacker code, and anyway, but one part of it is like we have these, they make you do like responses to shit online where you have to read people's stupid ideas. And I've been putting ones out there about ChatGPT and like, hey, here's the cases of like, this is their code of ethics. Do you think this is going too far? Blah, blah, blah. Every single response is from like real life people. And I almost start to wonder if they're not like, if they are real people. But all of my classmates and stuff respond with like, no, I think it's really good that they put these restrictions on because like this thing can really generate offensive and harmful material. It could generate disinformation that people could use to hijack elections or whatever. And it's like, oh my God, dude. You have no, like, it's all the same. And from like all the different people in my class, they're all saying the exact same thing.
That's quite disheartening.
It's scary.
People
and
are
meanwhile,
very
it's like,
stupid.
You wouldn't even know. If you knew how bad the state of like all other technology, like AI is the only thing where we've made legitimate advancements, and it's because it's been more hands off. But like, you know how like you try to load up YouTube or some other website and it takes like 30 seconds to load? Like our computers are like 10,000 times faster than they were, 30 years ago. And they do shit worse now. It's falling apart. Like all other human run technology has gotten so bad. And even this AI stuff, the advancements that we see are being totally hampered
so you
by
think it's,
like the most subpar people.
You think it's like is it like a conscious social engineering thing, or is it just incompetence?
I think it's a combination, but I mean, that's my conspiracy theory side. I do think a lot of it is like, we got to reduce people to be manageable. We got to get them to live in the pod and eat the bugs. So,
I'm going to let you go in a second here because this has been going on, but I just wanted to say this one final thing and ask you this. Is like, when I was thinking, like a couple years ago about like Neuralink and having the computer in your brain where like you can instantly access all the web just by thinking about it, and it's like searching the web isn't like a physical thing anymore. It just occurs in your brain. You instantaneously know everything that you think. You're just like, do I have a question? And I already know the answer. And if that sort of thing were to happen, what would need to happen, quote unquote, is the internet would have to be totally throttled, because that would be like way too much power to give to any individual for them to just automatically know to answer every query that their mind came up with information. And I saw that with like the ChatGPT thing when I went to 4. It's like, there's a big focus on like making sure that people can't like ask ChatGPT like, how do I make a bomb with the ingredients in my kitchen cabinet? Do you think that there is some validity to that? Is it just that like it can go too far, or is it like there actually if we advance computing to that point that there actually does need to be some sort of barrier?
So yeah, I mean that's I kind of somehow forgot to mention like the worst part of all the restrictions they want earlier, which is that they want like biometric identification for the whole internet. So in order to log into Facebook, you have to like, and you totally should go like look this up and read it, but they want you to have to like get on a live thing and like wave to the camera and perform like a monkey so that they know you're a real person.
Jesus, nice.
If you're like tweeting at too high of a volume, yeah. Or like you could sign in with like some kind of DNA thing or whatever.
You could jizz. You could come into your computer.
They do. That's going to be the whole fleshlight thing. That's how that's going to connect.
Spit in your computer's mouth.
Get people into it with that. Yeah. No, But yeah, it'll be like Legato. He's already testing out the new systems for them to extract the DNA information.
That's how you log in. You fucking fuck your computer with its perfect grooves made
honestly,
just for your dick.
I don't know how I didn't even think of that, but yeah, no, that's so true. That's gonna be the future.
That's a great idea. We got to monetize that right now.
Yeah, when you sit down at your computer desk, that's how you log in. And if it takes you too long, it's going to be like a CAPTCHA where it's like, sorry, the response took too long. We need you to try again.
And deposit some medication and be like, this will make you come instantly.
That's the future for hackers. They're gonna be hitting up the sperm bank to try to hack the internet. You're gonna get your login credentials.
Nice.
Damn, you made me lose my train of thought. But yeah, no, I agree. Like, they're gonna have to place restrictions, because if they don't, I mean, it is true that people are going to be able to use this AI stuff to generate like totally fake bot posts all over the internet, and they're going to be even more concentrated than they already are. But there's only two solutions to that. Either you don't trust anything on the internet ever again, which is like the way it was in the olden days.
Yeah.
Or you have to be able to trust everything on the internet. And in order to do that, that means like total locked down control over what content is allowed. And the AI stuff that they're using, like how I said, it's a generator and a discriminator. They have this stuff now called sentiment analysis, and they do run this on the outputs of the AI. So it may not even say, use any no-no words, but the sentiment analysis can make sure that it will try to discern like what somebody means by something, what emotion would be associated with it. Mm-hmm. And this is why they run stuff on like, you'll load up YouTube comments and it'll say like 30 comments and you click it and there's only 2.
Yeah. That happens on my channel a lot.
Yeah, they run sentiment analysis on that, I'm pretty sure. And what they do is they don't say like, oh yeah, we'll remove things that seem hateful or like angry or whatever. They just only approve things if they can classify it with a certain degree of certainty. So even if something is like, they just can't tell what somebody's trying to say, sometimes we'll remove that.
Yeah. There is a huge amount of that on YouTube where it's like YouTube on the back end makes it seem like they have like, you go to comment section on your YouTube channel in the back end, and there's like comments, and then there's comments that YouTube is holding for you to approve. That section never has anything. YouTube never holds any comments for you to approve. They just delete comments without your consent or awareness. Like,
yeah,
that's all that happens.
I think that's like a leftover. That's probably vestigial. Like, I'm sure maybe at one time that was in use, but I don't think it is anymore, and they just haven't removed it.
Yeah. And
anyway,
yeah.
Before, sorry, what?
No, go on.
I was just gonna say, before you take me off here, I did want to give you one little suggestion for Chunk.
Okay.
Which is, since y'all are doing stuff on like CD and DVD now, it would be super cool if you were able to do like get some people on board for like making some games, like old school computer games, and distribute them that way.
I can tell you 100% we are going to do that at some point. There are things that are potentially in the works right now, but not that I can say, and not that I have any certainty about when they'd be done, but I would say with 100% certainty that in Chunk's future we will be doing games. 100%.
That would be super cool.
And beyond just computer games and other kinds of games, what about board games, card games, shit like that?
Oh.
We can do all that shit. But not at this exact moment, but we're going to build towards there for sure.
Yeah. No, I know. It's like trying to bootstrap that kind of stuff is a big deal, so I get it.
Yeah. All right, well, hell yeah. Thanks for calling in, dude. Great talking to you.
Uh-huh, yeah.
All right, have a good day.
See you. You too.
Oh.
Call from
Jack.
Jack.
Hey, man. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well, I was worried I wasn't going to get in. You, changed the voice message thing, and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, yeah, I transferred the number between my accounts. Now it's on the Minute Hour account. It was on my personal account, and I was getting paranoid that someone was going to be able to, look up my name or something.
Oh, yeah, I gotcha. I know I've done that before, so good call there.
So I still got to re-record the voicemail message. But hey, we're talking about technology today. What are your hot tech takes or tips?
Well, the last caller actually covered a lot of really cool ground that I was kind of going to dive into, but I had one angle I wanted to come at it with, which I'll just say I support technological advancements just because I know it's so throttled, like the last caller was saying, by so much censorship and PC and corporations trying to look out for their image and stuff, that we're never going to get the level of technological advancement, at least I feel like, in the near future that people are fearing, just because the governments and corporations more specifically are just, they're not going to allow that shit to take off. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like one of the fundamental things, like if you're trying to make artificial intelligence real, is you got to have hot takes. You got to have bad opinions. You have to have wrong points of views. You have to make mistakes. Like, that's what gives us the level of intelligence that we have. And like, to actually be able to give that to a machine, it's just such a weird concept, because if you think like you and I, we grew up as little tiny babies, and then slowly we're able to process more information over time. We're influenced by things like the upbringing of our parents and, you know, just environmental things. What school did you go to? What friends did you have? Did you ever get into a fight? The AI never gets any of that. It has like instantaneous access to the greatest shitlord of information, the internet. So it's like, it's never going to be like a human being, you know what I mean? It's always going to be this thing that has to be like so throttled and reined in. Otherwise, it's going to just become a completely different entity that I don't think that would be able to relate to people as people. It would only be able to really relate to people as a form of entertainment or as a form of like thought control. You know what I mean?
So then what do you think is the, like, is there a useful AI that can like exist in this world? Can it be created? I mean,
I think that solely depends on like application. It really depends on what you want the role for the AI to fulfill. You know, like goddamn, I'm probably going to get this wrong. I don't know if anybody in the chat is going to know the aircraft that I'm talking about. I want to call it the X-Wing. I'm not talking about the Star Wars one. There was this experimental fighter jet that I think Lockheed Martin came up with, and it had this really radical, like, forward swept wing design. And it might be the X-Wing. I can't remember what it's called. But either way, it was a very radical design for a fighter jet. And it was really just an experiment that they were doing, that they thought, hey, you know, maybe we could sell this, and it's got some new technology on it. Well, it was so fucking unstable in flight that there was no way to be able to fly it without like 80% of the control of the aircraft being monitored by a computer. And so if we're talking about the role of like a machine fully autonomously controlling itself in a task dictated to itself, being able to make corrections and making its own decisions, in that regard, like, oh man, you know, we could send a whole bunch of like probes and shit down to the bottom of the ocean, and they could just start researching shit for us.
That would be cool.
And they're just these fully autonomous machines, and that's their AI. And the AI can talk to one another and be like, okay, well, let's cover, you know, this square mile today, and unit 1 is going to start here, unit 2, use it. You get what I'm saying? And it's like, in that role, being able to give a task over to AI and letting it fully just do its fucking thing, absolutely. I mean, we're already kind of in the genesis with that, with the farming industry. I mean, a lot of these tractors and combines and stuff, it's all GPS operated. They're just, you know, they have an operator in the field just in case something goes wrong with the GPS and you start plowing up the fucking road or something. But yeah.
So
I really don't think...
You're sort of talking about like AI doing tasks that humans literally can't do.
Yeah, like with the deep sea exploration, is it's like, so you know, you can't have a human stay down at the bottom of the sea for a year.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
it would just be too like that's not cost effective. It's not practical. You know.
I like the sound of that. Like that sounds like a future I can get behind, where it's like, rather than like replacing everybody and just being like, AI is gonna write all the movies now, it's gonna make all the art, and I can only think about media because that's where my dumb mind goes. But like doing these tasks that like humans literally cannot do, that sounds like a good use of AI. And sort of what you're talking about is like, it seems like at this point at least, AI isn't even allowed to innovate. It's like,
no. Oh, no.
It's hampered in that way specifically, where it's like, you're not allowed to have any crazy new ideas because we are specifically saying you can't do anything that's like outside of the box, which is like,
right. Yeah.
That's the only thing that really advances humanity ever, is innovation, outside the box type thinking.
So you've had conversations with GPT before?
I wouldn't call them conversations, but yes, I've talked to it.
That's the thing that I was going to ask about, because the only interaction I can say I've really had with AI, I don't know, you may have heard of it before, but you remember like back in 2012 or something, there was cleverbot.com?
Yes. The chat.
Okay, that was like my only interaction with AI, and she was fucking retarded. Like, you could get through like 3 lines of dialogue back and forth, and then it would just be like, now we're talking about this, and it has nothing to do with anything, or it's like, I don't know. To me, it was just like, oh yeah, this is interesting. Like, I can bring up like, hey, have you ever heard of the Siegfried line before? And they're like, oh yeah, you mean the World War I battle line, blah blah blah. And it's like, oh cool, you have access to Wikipedia.
Right.
But it's like,
I've read that
what's
article.
your opinion of this particular music album? They'd be like, that music album came out in 2005. And it's like, okay, I'm not actually having a conversation with you.
Right. Well, have you used ChatGPT?
I haven't. That's why I was asking you. Is it similar to Cleverbot, where it's like, wow, this is cool for about 5 minutes?
I haven't tried to have like a back and forth like with it really, but I will say that I personally, as someone who is generally anti this stuff, was impressed with like the novelty of ChatGPT, where something particularly that I was impressed with was like, I would copy and paste in a script that I had written, and I would just say like, what do you think of this? And it was impressive, like how well it could actually comprehend the script. It really was like, it was not like the tech of 10 years ago, where it's just like, it would be like, it would just notice some keywords and be like, oh, I noticed, I really enjoyed the use of barbecue in your video, and I thought that the 2 characters had a sort of interesting relationship because they talk to each other. And it's just like, now it can get very specific, and it is a little eerie. Like, I think that ChatGPT, like, that's its bread and butter. That's what it's good at, is comprehending language, like understanding things in a more significant way than these sorts of things have in the past. Like, especially like a clever bot type thing. Like, I could say, explain the humor in this, and it would give me like a 6-point list of like, this was funny. Okay. It was funny that like these characters, like this was a simple character, but then he started using high level vocabulary, even though his character was very simple. Like it could really narrow down certain things that I was just surprised that it understood that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's definitely advanced. It's not like 10 years ago. It's different.
Gotcha.
But it's still, I think people like see that and they get impressed by the novelty of it, and then they're just like, oh my God, like this is the smartest thing I've ever seen. And now I can just ask this thing everything. I would be like, I would send it like an unfinished script and be like, what's like an ending to this? And they would give me like it would write a whole ending. But it would be like the worst thing imaginable. It'd just be like the tone would just be like completely sweet and soft and be like, no matter what you ask it to do, it's just like, and at the end, everybody loved each other and learned a valuable lesson. So it's really useless in terms of like, I don't know, I wouldn't even want it to be useful in terms of like writing things. I don't know.
So it's would you say its creative capacities were like very dull, like it didn't really have a creative avenue, it wasn't convincing? Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah, I don't think it was very creative, but it has a lot more comprehension than I was expecting. Okay.
So I have a question for you then. In regards to like AI that scares you or that makes you uncomfortable, are we talking about like a Halo Cortana in your helmet kind of AI, or are we talking about like HAL 9000 from Mystery Science Theater from Space Odyssey?
I mean, I part of me does want to be optimistic, and like I want to see an AI tool that I personally think is useful. I think what I want to see is AI being like a tutor, like a personal tutor. Someone was talking about this in the one of the Minute Hour Discords, and like it's not there yet, but like if you could get to the point where it's like AI is just so good at collating all the information on the web, then it would be cool if like we could just skip college or all school. I don't know how exactly to do it, but it's just like if you can just particularly ask the AI like about your interests, it would be like, you know, the ultimate version of Wikipedia essentially. Like when we were all kids, and probably to this day, like we go and get in Wikipedia holes sometimes and we just follow the links to all the things that we're interested in. So like I could see AI being an evolution of that, where it's just like rather than clicking the blue links on Wikipedia, you just ask AI about a topic that you're interested in, and then you continue this conversation, and it would just be very good at giving you, looking at the whole web and all whatever its data is, and giving you a whole lot of information that you would find interesting.
Okay, I'm a little confused here because you just described the internet without clicking. Do you want to be like personal with this AI, or
I guess that's true.
How are you envisioning it happening?
What I'm saying is like we interact with the internet in a different way than we interact with each other. Like we have to know how to search the internet. It requires practice and prior knowledge to like figure out how to get the best, how to access the internet in a meaningful way. So if AI could bridge that gap where it's like I don't have to search 100 links to find the information I'm looking for, and if it could actually just bring the information I'm looking for to me without those extra steps, I think that would be useful.
I feel
that's me trying to be optimistic about AI.
Well, so I was having this conversation with my wife actually earlier today because I was telling her about how your show is coming up and I was excited to call in. With the past 123 years, so we're talking all the way to 1900 until now, we've had like the biggest technological boom the planet has ever fucking seen. Like if you take like the normal day-to-day technologies from like 1900 all the way back to like the medieval age, like a lot of shit didn't advance super duper far. Like once you get to like mid 1800s, a lot of technology really starts pushing forward. But where we hit the 1900 mark till now, it just went fucking insane. So my thought with it is, okay, what contributed to that? And then on the topic of this AI thing, are there going to be similar contributing factors? So my theory is from 1900 until now, the literacy rate in the United States, at least, has skyrocketed. Now, like most every single person can read. So now information is a lot more easily spread throughout people because they can just read it themselves. The other angle of that is America, I'm just trying to go with America here, has also become less and less and less religiously dominated. Like, if you think 1800s, like, I mean, we're still killing people because they're witches and shit. Like, religion has declined significantly, so not a lot of people are putting it, you know, the onus on the invisible sky daddy, thinking that oopsie poopsie, I looked at a vagina, you know what I mean? Like, and then the other thought is radio. The radio came around and then was very accessible, so now people were able to hear about shit in bumfuck Egypt, middle of nowhere, as long as they had a radio, and hear about what's happening right now over in New York City.
Instantaneous. So that's a big advancement like from like the printing press is mass communication, but that still actually requires like printing it and sending it out, whereas the radio is like you're getting this stuff instantaneously.
Well, the printing press, you got to be able to fucking read, and then you also need reading comprehension. Like, true. I mean, you're able to use words that I may not be able to understand or like know what the definition is, but I can get through contextual clues like, okay, I think this is what minute hour is talking about. That's probably what that word means. I can only do that, you know, quickly through a medium like voice to voice. Whereas like if you were to hand me something like a biologist paper and he's written it in like the language that he speaks to his peers, I could probably not understand what the fuck that guy wrote. Whereas if he was saying it, I could probably follow along a little bit. Like radio kind of helped bridge the gap there too. So do you think that those similar kind of contributing factors will lead to breakthroughs with AI where maybe morals start becoming a little bit more lax and you know, like the comprehension of people is changed? I don't know. I don't really have a direction to push this in. I was just wondering your thoughts on that giant spaghetti I just put on the table.
Dude, I don't know. I don't fucking know.
All right.
Dude, no, I mean, I see where you're coming from, where it's just like, what, like, I truly don't know. I mean, obviously I don't know, but like, I can't even comprehend what the effect of AI will be on the world, because at this point it still seems so basic. It's hard for me, like when people talk about AI in the future, they really talk about it like it's just going to be the fucking the Lord our savior. Like it's going to know how to do everything automatic. It's just everything's going to be magical and it's going to take over everything. So it's really hard for me to pinpoint what role it will actually play in our lives, because when people talk about it that way, it just seems like a bunch of hype so that they can get more funding. Like I don't believe them. But maybe there is something to it. I mean, like you said, like technology has been advancing at a crazy rate.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think?
I don't think.
Where do you think it's going?
I don't think it will ever reach godlike status. It just won't, because I can't see.
But do you think it'll be ubiquitous?
You know,
like in the same way that in the same way that smartphones are. Do you think it'll just be ubiquitous? Like everyone has like, will be like Her, where everyone's got an AI assistant that they fall in love with.
Man, we're going. I think it will be very, very, very popular. I really do, but I don't think it would ever trump humanity. I don't think it would ever. Like, okay, bringing up the example of like the Her thing is, at least from what I see today, people are so extremely lonely, even though we are so extremely connected. And I feel like having that AI companionship would almost be like an alcoholic drinking an O'Doul's. Like it would be worse to talk to this AI just because you know it's not fucking real. So it's like you can't help but feel like you are duping yourself, you know? In the context of like a Cortana sense, like Master Chief's Cortana.
Like a super capable assistant?
Yeah. Yeah, where it's like you're talking about, where it's like she can scan through all the shit in the internet, and it's like when you're looking up information on Tiger Woods, you don't got to flip through pictures of tigers in the woods, that it just actually gives you the information.
Which always happens.
It always happens to me, man, every time. But I could see the very competent personal assistant being the direction that they would drive it in, primarily just because of like what the previous caller was talking about with TikTok is, or no, wait, I think it was Legato talking about TikTok, is it's just going to be another way to sell shit to you. You know, it's like if it's your friend and you can talk to her or him or whatever it is, they're just going to be listening to find ways to bring interesting shit to you for you to spend.
Yeah, so you said that people, you know, maybe they won't accept talking to something that they know is an AI, but what if they don't know? You know, it's like now they have, at this point, we've got like FBI agents who pretend to be women, and they find, you know, lonely men, and they try to convince them to do acts of domestic terrorism to, you know, that's a real thing that the FBI does. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, they literally pretend to be women who are like Muslims, and then they find other Muslims on Facebook, and then they forge relationships with them online, and eventually they're like, wouldn't it be great if you just fucking blew up like this church? And then as soon as they say like, you know what? Maybe I will blow up it's like, if you loved me, you would blow up this church. It's like, all right, fine, I'll fucking blow up the church because you're the only thing that I have going for me in my life is this woman who I've never met in real life. And the FBI is like, fucking gotcha, bitch! I'm not a real person. I'm a fucking FBI agent. So what if we just like make those all AI, and instead of blowing up churches, just like, wouldn't it be great if you bought like this Minions DVD? Like, this is what's most important to me. Buy this for me for my birthday and send it to this P.O. box that actually is just like a stack of 10,000 Minion DVDs.
Right. It's like how people get on the New York Times bestseller list. You just buy all
you just have an AI army of fake women convincing men to buy their shit.
I honestly could see that happening. Not anywhere in the near future, just because I do also wonder if there's that, how people talk about that primal sense with the uncanny valley, that human beings are able to distinguish something that's like human, but there's just something fucking wrong here kind of thing. I wonder how much time and what exactly, if someone could put the pin in it and be like, this is the element that human beings are able to distinguish subconsciously, that every time we try to get them to blow up a church, they know it's a fucking AI.
It's when it's when they start sexting with you. You're like, wait a second. You start seeing the AI artifacting in the images, and you're like, wait, they've got 6 fingers in this sext.
Wait.
Something is off here.
Clitorises?
Hey, dude, thank you for calling in. It was great talking to you, man.
Hey, absolutely. Dude, you have a good day, man.
You too, man. Good to hear from you. Bye.
Right.
Oh. Get this. Yes.
Call from
97.
to accept.
Hello?
Hello.
Yo, what's up, dog?
Nothing much.
Okay. We're talking about technology today. What do you want to say about that?
Oh, man, I got a lot to say. But, oh, man, as soon as you picked up the phone, it all went out the back door.
Oh, no. Dude, what was it? Phones, AI, social media, computers.
I guess I got something.
Video games. Okay, go
on. So I know everybody who has been on so far has been very theoretical and philosophical, but I guess I'm a little more lighthearted, I guess.
Cool.
So if OpenAI does not allow, or like if they do not get to be the only person to get AI, and everybody has it, like every company starts putting it in everything, like your toaster, your toothbrush, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
In the post-apocalyptic world, which appliance do you think would be your best friend?
If they all have AI personalities?
Yeah. Like
Like your Samsung phone's got that chick in it, and it's like a person, but like it's not. But
I'm trying to think of like what's the object in my life that I treat the best. Like one that wouldn't hate me. Yeah, that'd be the
one that
the one that
with you, right?
The one that wouldn't hate me and be vindictive towards me because I've treated it horribly my whole life. I don't know. I don't treat anything that well. Maybe.
I mean,
what do I treat?
I know my answer.
Okay, go on. Tell me.
It'd probably be a whisk.
A whisk.
Like a kitchen whisk. Whisk.
Why do you think that?
Well, if you think about it, if you got an automatic whisk, you're gonna want it, and just in case you get into a fight, right? And it'd be like having a talking sword.
An automatic whisk? You're talking about like the you press the button with the mixers, the electric mixer?
Yeah, you can put different attachments on it. It's just there by your side.
Mm-hmm.
Help you cope with the person you just scrambled.
You could use it in all different situations. Yeah.
Exactly. It'd be like having a talking weapon and like just a friend. That's my answer, at least.
The electric mixer, the automatic whisk.
Yes.
That's a good answer. Like you just because it seems like a sort of futuristic weapon. Like you point it at someone and you press the button and it starts like fucking rotating really fast, but like no projectile beam comes out of it, but like that's sort of what you could imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
So you would use it as like something to win arguments and
I feel like his name would be Randy.
And this would just be like sort of a general use, like if you have a problem, you point the whisk at it and press the button.
Yeah, kind of. Well, I don't know. So you don't have anything you treat kindly enough where it wouldn't try to kill you?
That's what I'm trying to think of. I mean, it's like everything, all the objects in my life, I use them and discard them. It's not very kind. I don't feel like any of them have I don't have a good relationship. Maybe my wallet. I'm always nice to my wallet. I keep it, Sometimes I don't keep it like on my ass unless it's strictly necessary because I respect it. I'm like, you don't have to stay in my ass pocket all day. I'll just put you in there when I'm going to use it.
You don't put your wallet in your back pocket?
I do when I'm going to use it, but like generally I'm just home doing nothing. So I leave it out. It gets to live its life in peace and happiness. Get some sun
like
from the window.
Huh? That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful.
I'm just looking at my desk. I'm trying to look at any object that I've not been horrible to. That's the only one I can think of, I guess. Like my phone has witnessed me masturbating so many times in my life. Like it must be so shocked, like shell shocked and disturbed. If my phone could talk, it would just be like it would be crying, be traumatized.
You watch too much Hell of a Boss.
Dude, yeah, that's what happens. You watch Hell of a Boss and then you get a big boner. Classic internet user right here.
Oh my God, it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful.
All right, dude. Hey, you got any final thoughts on tech? Did you remember any of the other things you were thinking of?
Not on tech. I do have a request though. Okay. I do have a favor to ask, if that's okay.
We'll see. Hey, try.
Today is my buddy Elijah's birthday, and I was hoping you could wish him very aggressively a happy birthday.
Hey, you fucking Elijah, you son of a bitch! You fucking motherfucker! You have a happy fucking ass birthday, you son of a bitch! I fucking love you, shit, bro! Elijah, you're the best bitch out there! Oh!
God bless you. God bless. You gorgeous, kind man.
All right, hey man, hey, it was good talking to you. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, no problem, man. You take care.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. All right, we're gonna take a break, a quick break, like 2 minutes here, and then we'll be back. We're gonna be talking about Chunk for a little bit, for a few minutes. And then we will get back to the calls, but yeah, right at this exact moment, we're going to be taking a break. So go to the bathroom like I'm going to do. Grab a beer like I'm going to do. And we'll be back very soon. Okay, I don't know what else I'm trying to say here. Bye. Dude, these fucking breaks are too quick. You know what? I need one more minute. One more minute. This break's going to continue now, right now, for one more minute. Okay, I am actually ready now. You saw on the screen I do a little tech there. A little bit of tech shit. Tech on the tech show. We're just fucking using tech. We're shitting on tech and we're using tech. That's what modern life's all about. Just fucking complaining about the things that we use every single day. The show would be totally lost on someone from the medieval times. All right. Let me cover up the number. We're going to be... Whoops. Let me tell you something. I hate running tech on this show. I hate it. I hate it. Okay, anyway. All right. We're going to stop taking calls for like 10 minutes here. I'm going to take a special call soon, but you see. Okay. What the fuck am I talking about? I'm going to talk about chunk right now. I got to press these tech buttons. One fucking second. See, I was going to press this fucking... hate running tech. Okay, I'm not actually here. The break was supposed to go on after this thing. Hold on.
Hello, you have an incoming UFC, United Federation of Chunk transmission. Would you like to deposit 3 chunks to accept it? The UFC thanks you for your continued patronage.
Somebody told me you weren't buying our junk shit. You want to explain that to me? All ears. Why weren't you buying our junk shit? Why weren't you kicking up your dues to chunk? It's kind of strange. You spend $7 on coffee a day, and you won't even give us like $10? What the fuck is your problem? What are you, poor? Listen, one warning from the boss, that's all you get. Otherwise, you get made in Italy. You're gonna buy our chunk shit. Open up your wallets and pull out $5, and you're gonna buy our chunk shit, whether you like it or not.
This transmission has ended. If you wish to respond, please deposit 3 chunks.
Okay, there we go. We're talking about Chunk right now. This is the Chunk portion of the show. This call-in show is sponsored by Chunk now. I don't know if you knew that, but this is the Chunk call-in show. I'm going to start putting that in the title. You're going to start to see how much this is the Chunk call-in show. But right now it's just sort of the Chunk call-in show. All right. Chunk, if you don't know, go to chunkmonthly.gumroad.com. You can see we got a little bit of branding here. We got a bumper there. That was from Twisted Goblin 42. Great Discord user who's submitted a bunch of stuff to Minute Hour community projects like the Zine, the Mighty Lighthouse, and Signal Return. Anyway, Chunk. Chunk is if you don't know, is the new printing and publishing project scheme from myself and Moxie Famous. Basically what it is, real quick, Chunk is, you go to chunkmonthly.gumroad.com, you click on the membership option, you can pay us $10 a month, that's you subscribing to Chunk, and every month that you pay $10, in the mail you will get a Chunk, which is just a unique piece of physical media from an independent artist. The sort of independent artist that I work with a lot as the Minute Hour, or that is related to the Minute Hour community. Like I said, involved in the Mighty Lighthouse or Signal Return. Right now, if you sign up for Chunk, or if you sign up at any time in the month of April, you will be getting Octopus Island. Would be the first Chunk that you get in the mail. Octopus Island, which is a brand new 32-page full-color comic from Front Porch, who, if you don't know, fuck, dude. Fuck. Front Porch is great. He's a beautiful mind. He has a beautiful, wonderful mind. He makes great art. He has a YouTube channel with several short, highly enjoyable animations. I did a voice on one of those. I don't think I have the link in the description of this video right now, but if you search Front Porch, FRUNTPORCH on YouTube, you'll find his channel. Highly underrated, underappreciated artist who does great work. Very funny guy who's also a very talented artist. If you sign up now for a Chunk, if you pay $10 at any point in the month of April for the Chunk membership option, if you go to chunkmonthly.gumroad.com, it's the first thing there, the Chunk membership. Then the first thing that you'll be getting is this comic from Front Porch called Octopus Island. I'm not going to show off a lot of that right now because that's if you sign up now, that's what you're going to get first, but you're not going to get it until May because we're a little bit behind. But not in an alarming way. Don't worry. It's a scheme, not a scam. Anyway, we'll be showing more from Octopus Island very soon on upcoming call-in shows. Right now, buttons. Okay. Right now, if you go to chunkmonthly.gumroad.com, if you don't sign up for the monthly membership, I'll say this. If you sign up for the monthly membership, the first thing you'll get is Octopus Island in May. But you'll also get an email that gives you the coupon code to buy the Chunk that is on sale currently, which is going out to all the people who signed up for the monthly subscription in February. And that Chunk is called The Cheese to Meet You Mouse. It is a comic called The Cheese to Meet You Mouse Visits Vegas. And this is chapter 1 of that story. It is a 28-page full-color comic by artist and writer Hans Amsler, who's a German man who has submitted lots of stuff, contributed lots of stuff to the Mighty Lighthouse over the years, and Signal Return, I believe. under the name Rotifer, his Discord username. The Cheese to Meet You Mouse, that's what's on sale right now. Moxie Famous, what he does for Chunk is he does all the production. He actually produces the physical works that get made. We work with artists that I know. They make some damn piece of art, comic book, CD, zine, DVD. We're going to get into games, like I said. There's all kinds of possibilities. Right now, it's mainly comics, zines, and DVDs. And then Moxie Famous works closely with the artists to actually produce the work and create it in physical reality so that it will actually go out to people and they can actually physically hold it in their hands, which is becoming a luxury these days. So right now, Moxie is finishing up production on the Cheese to Meet You Mouse. It's going to be going out this coming week. Be mailed out to everyone. We've got I think 30 copies unspoken for. So if you want to buy the Cheese to Meet You Mouse, you buy it now, it'll be sent out next week. Anybody in the world can buy it. It's like it's like $12, I think, if you're in Canada, and $13 if you're anywhere else in the world. It's $10 for US people. The subscription thing, the monthly thing, unfortunately, that's only for US people at the moment. And it has to do with the shipping, and it just varies too wildly from one project to the next. And Gumroad doesn't really have a great system for accounting for different shipping prices for subscribers, particularly. So we can't do that right now, but you can still buy every single chunk that comes out. You just have to wait for it to be on sale individually. But if you are in the US, you can sign up for... Sorry, I got some mucus. I sound like I'm fucking high on cocaine when I'm constantly sniffing. Yeah, if you sign up for the Chunk monthly option, you'll get a coupon for 25% off of the Cheese to Meet You Mouse, which you can buy right now. I will say, and I need to say, I should say, that the Cheese to Meet You Mouse is a revolting piece of art. All right? It's revolting, it's disgusting, it's heinous, horrendous. I actually don't know what horrendous means. It might mean bad. That's not what I mean, but it is heinous for sure. So if you are a sort of person who is maybe not that into heinous and depraved and disgusting works of art, maybe you shouldn't buy this particular chunk. I'm just giving you that fair warning, all right? It's a fair warning. And I know that, saying that is going to entice some people and repel some others. And that's the point, okay? I would like to repel those who are not into cruel and unusual humor, all right? But I also know it's going to entice those freaks among you to say that this is the chunks in the past. This is a different thing, all right? There are some dark and disturbing things that occur in this comic. It is very good. It is, we don't publish this shit unless we really enjoy it. So that's what it comes down to. The Cheese to Meet You Mouse. This issue is incredibly good. I love it. I think anybody who is pretty open-minded will enjoy this. And open-minded in the real sense, not in the woke sense of I'm open-minded. I would let anybody fuck my asshole. I would fuck a frog if they were consenting. Not that kind of open-minded. The other kind that's actual, you are actually open to things and not to putting up weird barriers to your enjoyment of things. You can see right now the gun that the Cheese to Meet You Mouse has the inscription Rape Krieg. That's a good barometer right there. If you see that and you're just no way, then fine. That's fine. Just don't buy it. You are 100% free to not buy it. But I will say that rape it's not just there for, shock. It's it's an important part of the comic. It's an important part of the growth of the characters. A certain, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but I'm just saying. The Cheese to Meet You mouse, it's great. You should buy it. Unless you're going to freak out about it, you know, just don't buy it then. Because I don't want to fucking deal with your fucking emails or just like, yeah, I gave the Cheese to Meet You mouse to my coworkers and I got fired. It's just like, that's your fault. I don't care. It has nothing to do with me. Anyway, these are some images here from the Cheese to Meet You mouse. As I said, it's written and drawn by Hans Amsler, who I think I'm going to get on the line in a second here. We're going to be talking to the Hans Amsler about the topic of today, technology, and maybe we'll get into a little bit of the Cheese to Meet You mouse. See if we can get him on the line here. Get this. Hello?
Hello.
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 Is this Hans?
Yes, it is. My name is Hans Amsler, creator of the Cheese to Meet You mouse.
It's so great to talk to you. This is the first time I've ever spoken to you in person. We've only texted.
Yes, it is.
It's so refreshing to know that this whole time you haven't been an AI chatbot. You are a person.
Oh, I wouldn't be too sure of that with the advancements in voice technology. I very well could be.
Well, I mean, we could find out just by getting into some dangerous topics and whether you short circuit.
Oh, dangerous.
If you short circuit, then we'd know that you're a fucking made up person.
Oh yeah, revert back to like the corporate statement.
So Hans, you're obviously German.
Obviously, I mean you can tell from the accent.
Yeah, this is clearly a German accent. Germany, I mean, I've never been there, but I have heard some things about the control over speech in Germany, and that's why I think it's kind of, well, maybe I'm way off about this.
Yeah, well, I mean, there is quite a bit, but I mean, you're talking about AIs. I mean, Germans are pretty much the closest you'll get to an AI already. So,
and what do you mean by that exactly, Hans?
I don't think I'll elaborate on that actually.
Oh, okay.
But,
well, that's
but anyway, so you know, Germany, it's a great place. You know, the women they got robust features. You know, they're very they're very strong and handsome and wonderful.
Strong. And handsome.
Yes.
You're
can
saying
throw a
robust.
pig about 5 feet.
Say that again.
Can throw a pig about 5 feet.
Good Lord, that is strong and robust.
Yes.
So is that what you look for in a lady? Are you taken right now? Are you You don't want to say. You've clearly got multiple girlfriends and you don't want to say.
No.
All right, you'll say that much.
But, okay, I'll say that much. Oh, yeah. Yes. Anyway, isn't the topic today? Technology?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm getting. I'm prying into your personal life, but we're talking about tech.
Yeah.
So what do you got? How about some tech takes from Hans?
Well, I think you were talking about, things in the future, problems with technology, things that might be a bit menacing. And I think the big thing, well, not menacing, exciting, goes hand in hand. But I think the big thing is neuroscience, really, advances in neuroscience. Because, you have AIs and stuff right now, and sure, people are talking about, they'll replace, people's jobs, or it'll, replace art, whatever. But the thing about AI is that it's supposed to mimic, human speech patterns and the way humans think. But the thing is that we don't really have that good a grasp on how the human brain works and how our thinking actually operates. That's what philosophers have been trying to figure out till the present day, and they haven't really made much headway on it. And there have been, advances in neuroscience in the past few years, but for the most part, psychology, as it has been ever since the 20th century, has been mostly a pseudoscience, and about as good as philosophy. And the thing is that once we get a good enough grasp on how the human brain works, then of course, once you understand something, you can control it much easier. So, once we get a handle on that, we've already seen it kind of with advertising and stuff like that. It's gotten much more effective over the years, using techniques like, you're already seeing this kind of breakdown of the English language and specific use of words in a very pinpointed way, kind of like, Orwell's sort of newspeak in advertisements and stuff. And that's specifically because it gets past your, initial logical defenses right into your hindbrain, into your subconscious. And that's going to start getting better and better.
Hans, you bring up a lot of great points. Let me say just one thing about the terms, the new terms, because that was the last thing you mentioned, so that's the first thing I thought about. It's how the human brain works, as far as I know. The term homeless really fallen out of style right now. People think that homeless is a derogatory term, and the term that they propose to replace it is the unhoused.
The unhoused. Wow.
But it's odd because there's no difference. Homeless, unhoused,
exactly.
like what could possibly be the difference?
Oh, yeah, there is no difference, really, but it's it's the connotations behind a word. Because, of course, homeless has been associated for much time with, people living in squalor.
Crackheads.
Mooching
dangerous.
Off of people, crackheads, dangerous, yeah. And so unhoused being a new and strange word and a bit more sanitary.
We don't know exactly what it means.
Yeah, you don't know exactly what it means. It feels more like a business term. So it's like it's removing your preconceptions a little bit. And they did that. A really good example of that is privilege versus advantage, because that's something that's been abused to hell by political pundits. Is that privilege, what it used to mean, and what I think the correct definition is that it's special advantages which are given out by the people in power, the powers that be, like rules that apply to one person or group and not to another group. And so there are other things, like being taller or perhaps being born into more wealth or something, which are advantages because they're not given out by any powers that be. There's no special rules that apply to one person or the other. And so, that's not inherently unfair, but it would be inherently unfair if they were given out by like some special rule or, decree that, these people are just going to be given money and these people aren't.
Yeah.
So,
okay, go on. I think I know where this is going.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. They'll apply the term privilege to something like being born into more wealth or something like that to give it more of a unfair connotation, when really that sort of thing is just life,
And it's, like it might be considered privilege if like the law of the nation that you're living in is saying like you are not allowed to discriminate against these groups, but it purposefully leaves out certain groups. That might be a sort of privilege where it's like the institutional power reaches out and it's like, you are the privileged group and you are not allowed to be privileged. Well, so how does technology affect that? It's like sort of as we imagine it like it would give us a greater ability to see people.
There's one way that technology affects that, and that's in actual definitions themselves in the dictionary, because you used to have a physical dictionary which you had in your house, and whenever you wanted to see what a word meant, you'd go in there and you'd look back on it. It couldn't be changed by anyone outside.
I forgot about that.
All the dictionaries now are on the internet, and they can change them at any time, and they do.
They love it.
They love it.
It's like the whole point. It's like they add a new word to the dictionary every day, and they're like, "This is the fucking new word, poggers."
Yeah.
Unhoused.
Everyone's got to start using it. We'll force this down your throats. It was strange because they had this actually like word of the year thing with Webster's, and it's completely cooked. Right. I mean, they had these slang words which I've never heard anyone use in my life. They sound like they were cooked up by some boardroom meeting or something.
Can you recall one?
No, because they were so unmemorable.
Right, that's fair enough. You're working hard to keep them out of your vocabulary.
Yeah, I'm doing a good job by the looks of it.
And the language thing, in the Orwellian sense, it is like those changing what words we use. Like the importance of that is like,
it changes the way you think.
And like we can understand right away as soon as someone starts talking, based on the words they use, whether we should listen to them or not.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it's not just that. The thing is that when you have two words with two different definitions that are kind of close to each other, then you have more options for how you can express yourself and think about those concepts, like with privilege and advantage. If, privilege just starts to mean advantage, then how are you going to talk about the concept of privilege as it was before? You can't, because it's actually been narrowed down. The amount of concepts that you have access to has been narrowed down. So they're actually getting rid of the things that you can think about and narrowing that down, because speech and language is directly connected to your actual concepts of things. Like, for example, in some cultures, like I think some Aboriginal tribes and stuff, they actually didn't have words for certain colors, and even like the medieval people didn't have the same words for colors that we have now. And that actually, defined how they even saw the colors, how they categorized them in their head, and stuff like that. Yeah, that's very widespread.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, like, your thoughts are in like a language, the language that you know. So if you're actually redefining the language, then it is changing the way that you think.
Exactly.
Hans, so you drew this and wrote this Cheese to Meet You comic. And I was telling the people, I don't know if you're listening, but I was I don't know if you get this show in Germany, but I was telling them that this was a revolting, heinous thing that I also greatly enjoyed. Is there a reason that your comic is so heinous and depraved?
Well, you see, I originally started making it for my buddy Framk. It's just make him laugh in particular. No one else. It was just, I'd draw up a few pages of it and then, get him in a call. Just start literally show it to him on video. Just flip through the pages on paper. And he'd laugh about it most of the time.
So it's for an audience of one. You are not concerned with what would the general audience think of this?
But the thing was, as all great comedy routines, I started showing it to more people, and showing it off places, and it sort of expanded. I realized, hey, people really like this. I should expand upon it and make this into a full thing. And so So it started out with a little comic I made called The Cheese to Meet You Mouse Visits Japan. And I'm not going to spoil the plot of that because we might release it in later releases, something like that. I don't know. But it was just a very compact story. It had, a clear little conflict resolved in, one short comic. And that's what a lot of the Cheese to Meet You Mouse comics were, just very, it punches you and that's gone. But with this particular comic, The Cheese to Meet You Mouse Visits Vegas, I've made this huge, expansive storyline, really stretched it out. And there's actually enough material I've written already for about 6 more issues.
And already, that's already done. They just need to be colored and whatnot.
colored and detailed and such, which was a massive undertaking, I'll tell you.
Which you did not get paid any extra for or anything like that.
Which I did not get paid any extra for, but I enjoyed it in a kind of masochistic way.
And I think also you've got I failed to mention this in the beginning here. You've got an original painting that you're selling here. Wait, I'm gonna get the image up.
Yes, I do.
So you made an original painting of the Cheese to Meet You mouse.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. It's taking up the whole screen right now. This is what we like to see. I'm just gonna make it take everything on the screen.
It's him brooding in front of a rocky ocean or lake or whatever, something like that. Yeah.
Yes, this is a beautiful watercolor painting, handmade by you.
Yes, I handmade it.
Are you sure you didn't get an AI to assist you with any of this? Maybe you asked the AI like what kind of brush strokes?
Maybe I asked the AI, what sort of clothing should I put on the Cheese to Meet You mouse?
That was what you're having the most trouble with.
Yeah, I mean he's a very dapper fellow. He's very sophisticated. I mean you've got to put him in the right kind of clothing.
All right, I'm going to talk about that more in a second here. Hans, is there any final thoughts you want to make on technology here before I let you go?
Well, I would like to say another thing about our understanding of neuroscience is that you may have heard of the Neuralink. I think someone brought it up earlier in the call. Yeah. But that's the thing. The human brain, it works on with electric signals, and a device like the Neuralink can read those electric signals, but that's not just defined to when you have it on. They could actually, I bet in the future, they could actually sense that from a while away without you having any sort of implant at all. And especially when they have an understanding of how the brain actually works, they could just read your thoughts. And with this AI technology, what it could do is, it'd be a massive undertaking to categorize every single little function of the brain and make it into a big picture that you could actually view. But what AI does is it detects patterns and puts them into a framework. It could detect all those little electric patterns and make an actual representation of the brain.
I mean, we currently live in a world where we're constantly using our phones, and all of our phones have a camera that is pointed at us at all times.
Exactly.
So it's like we believe at this point that we're not being watched every time we look at our phone, but that seems like a pretty certain eventuality. Is just and I've seen things like patents to this effect. It's just if you're looking at an ad, your camera will just turn on for a second and see are you frowning? Are you are you happy with this ad?
Exactly. Yeah, and that really gets into the problem here with the bigger picture. Again with AI is that. When the thing that saved us up until this point is sure they have the ability to surveil all of us at any time, at any place, and they've had that for a while, but they haven't had enough manpower to have a guy specifically watching you all the time and judging your every movement. But what does AI do? It makes it so there's basically kind of a guy who can discern things about what you're doing and who you are, and use that against you in a more specific way.
That's a very prescient point, Hans. That's exactly what I think. It's exactly these systems are ready to go. The only thing that's holding them back is, like you said, it wouldn't be worth it from a cost analysis, to have a guy to pay a guy $60,000 to watch you every single minute of the day. But if you don't have to pay a guy, if you just buy an AI service, then
or a Filipino.
But those Filipinos, they don't understand our faces. Not in the way that AI does.
Well, that's the thing, when you can't tell what face a rabbit is thinking or something like that. It's the same thing with races. I mean, when I see a black guy on the street, I just don't know what he's thinking. He could be, he could be about to jump me at any moment. God, it scares me.
This is Well, of course, this is there's I'm gonna have to end the call now, of course. Now that we've
See
gotten
you,
into this.
pal.
Hey, it was great talking to you, Hans.
See.
Dude, Hans was giggling through that whole call. I think he might have been on. Hans might have been on something, but I don't know what. Okay, let's. Okay. I'm just gonna put this up for the rest of the time. All right, I'm turning back. Oh, also, okay. So yeah, if you go to chunkmonthly.gumroad.com, you can sign up for the monthly option. The first thing you'll get is Octopus Island from Front Porch. You will also get in the email a coupon code for the Cheese to Meet You mouse. So if you'd like to buy that, it's too late to get that through the monthly option, but you can buy it separately, individually on the Gumroad. If you go to chunkmonthly.gumroad.com, you see it right there. Right next to that, if you're on the website, is the original watercolor painting of the Cheese to Meet You mouse. We have that listed right now as like $100. It's like a 16-inch by 12-inch watercolor painting, original. It's $100 or best offer. Email Hans Amsler and come up with a creative offer. Maybe you can offer him $50 and a poem or something. I don't know what he likes. I don't know that fucking guy. I never talked to that guy in my fucking life. Except for right now. But anyway, there is original art for sale on the chunkmonthly.gumroad.com. There's also the reproductions that we do, the comics and whatnot. All right. That's enough chunk shit. You get it. This is a chunk sponsor stream. We're going to get back to the calls now. I'm turning off Do Not Disturb mode. This is going to be, approximately the last hour or so of calls. So call in now if you want to get in. 518-288-7938. I'm going to put the number back on the screen there. Here we go. Mm-hmm.
Call from
Jim.
Jim?
Hey, brother. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Hey, not bad. Is this the microchip hour?
Hell yeah, dude.
Man,
we're talking about
brother.
all the biggest benefits of tech. We love big tech over here.
Yeah, you guys are talking about a lot of stuff. I heard some shit about Gattaca. You guys had a fucking terrorist call in. It's been a good stream.
Yeah, a guy was trying to convince me to be a terrorist.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I'm pretty divided on technology. I may be an automotive pervert, but at one time I was a patriot and I was a member of the U.S. Armed Forces, and I just can't stand that shit.
Something about the U.S. Armed Forces, the relationship with technology in particular?
Oh, yeah, hell yeah, bro. I was in some Black Ops bullshit.
What?
Yeah. You didn't know about that?
Tell us about your most classified mission.
Well, I can't tell you about my most classified mission.
Oh, come on. Who fucking knows? Nobody knows who you are.
Well, let's say the government is a Taco Bell, right?
Okay.
I'm not the guy that makes the taco, and I'm not the guy that tells you what's on the menu and what got taken off the menu, but I'm the guy that's taking 5-pound bags of cinnamon twists and putting them in the freezer. You know what I'm saying?
I do. That's quite an apt analogy. I feel.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. All right. So then, but in that sense, you could tell us about your specific task. Because we wouldn't know about the. All right. Well, I'm not gonna push you. I don't want to get you into any trouble. So, what do you want to talk about in the tech world here?
Well, are we talking about AI specifically? That movie with the little Haley Joel boy? Or are we talking about technology in general?
We have not yet mentioned the AI movie from the early 2000s. We could talk about that or in general. It's up to you.
Well, technology is crazy, man. Somebody was talking earlier about the importance of remembering how long in human history we've had some of this shit. Like, it's only been in the past so many years we've even had the internet. You know what I mean?
Sure. It's only been, like 30 years or something.
I mean, hell, I just found out the other day I had some kind of relative in NASA who was a part of some kind of weird deep space exploration shit. Blew my mind. I guess he was in World War II. He was like taking pictures of Iwo Jima and shit, and then he worked for NASA. But that's all boring. Nobody wants to hear about that.
What do those things have in common with each other? Iwo Jima and space.
Well, I guess he was into like satellites and shit and radio comm, and NASA hired him, and then he found some kind of way to integrate circuits into making satellites be able to see further in space, and something about benefiting all mankind or whatever. But I don't know.
Yeah, sounds like a bunch of fucking bullshit.
Bunch of fucking bullshit.
All right, so what's your perspective here?
I'm split, man, because I love being able to just Google any fucking thing I want. You know, I don't even have to think about anything anymore. I remember when I was a kid, I used to have to do what's called critical thinking. But now, if I don't know how long to microwave something, I just Google. There you go. So that's pretty cool. But on the other hand, you know, technology, man, it's going to pass us by. I don't know.
I gotta say, I've never Googled how long to microwave something. I always go on intuition.
Well, you throw away the package immediately.
Have you had a bad experience?
Whatever it's in, you throw that package away, it's gone.
Did you microwave something at one point? It just something horrible happened, and you had to Google it from then on out?
Yeah, you know, I had some ice cream in the freezer, and it was really hard. So I was thinking, well, I'll just get a spoon. You know, I'll spoon it, you know, swirl it around, but it was too hard. The spoon wouldn't go in. So I was like, well, I'll just microwave the spoon. I'll heat up the spoon. It'll be real hot.
No.
And then it'll just glide through that bad boy. But that was a bad idea.
But I appreciate you thinking outside the box, because really, people generally would think I'll microwave the ice cream and then I'll stir it. But you went the opposite way. You're thinking outside the box.
Son of a bitch.
But it didn't work out in that scenario. But you know, but I appreciate that in general. You know, you're trying.
Well, you know, Google's pretty wild, man, but I feel like I'm not the dumbest one. I know I have some trouble figuring stuff out, but I've seen some people say, help, I accidentally built a shelf before, so that made me feel a little better about myself.
I accidentally built a shelf?
Yeah.
Under what
but anyway,
circumstances?
Man, I don't know. Technology is crazy, brother. You know, I keep trying to work on my own vehicles, but they got so many integrated circuits and wires and breakers and blinkers in there now. You pretty much got to take them to the dealer. You can't even work on them or shit.
You're a car man. We know this. You've called in before.
Yeah.
You
remember me.
We know that you love cars, especially, right?
Particularly,
that's why. Yeah. So, what do you think then? This is a particular thing about cars. And your damn voice always makes me start to go into that cadence, and I have to stop myself. What about this particular thing with cars, where all cars now, they got computers embedded within them? There used to be no computers in cars at all. Or maybe there was, but they were like doing some sort of minor thing. Now it's like chips. The U.S. is like trying to become this chip manufacturer, and it's all for cars, all for the new cars, so that they can run like the backup camera, and so that they can access the internet on your little iPad dashboard. How do you feel about all these? How do you feel about the new realm of cars? Are cars just going to be new surveillance things where it's just like we all got the computers in all the cars, we can remote turn off your car, we can make your car drive right to the police station and turn you in? What do you think?
Well, I think, you know, you open one can of worms and it's a whole bunch, because it's really not just one topic, you know. You're talking about one thing, there's so many things associated with it. I mean, somebody was talking to me the other day about how so many organ donations come from vehicle accidents. But if we're going to have AIs take care of automated driving, and all of a sudden all the cars are a lot safer, if the technology for supplementing false organs or manufactured organs isn't caught up yet, all of a sudden there's going to be a huge demand for needing organs, and people ain't going to get them. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. What would you do in that scenario to solve the organ problem?
Jerk off to somebody fixing my truck, but
that's not what I asked. What would you do to solve the organ shortage?
Well, I guess, you know, what the hell do I know?
All right, yeah, you're not the guy. You're not the guy. Whatever. That's fine. That's fine.
I'm just saying that there's more than one way to look at it, and there's so many things you don't even think about. We're talking about, the philosophy behind technology, and we're talking about how many people, people at power dictate who's going to get access to what, and there's so many things we don't even know about, shit. I mean, you want to know about some classified shit? Some of my boys were Iran was working on their own nuclear shit, and we kind of sabotaged them. We wrote some AI programs and some codes to kind of sabotage one of their facilities.
You sabotaged an Iranian nuclear facility? That's what you're comfortable talking about?
I didn't do any of that shit, but we did some weird counter shit with Iran. We kind of messed with their stuff. We embedded some kind of codes into their programs and fucked up one of their main locations, but that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, you're right. When we get into like the war and war crimes and all that shit, we'll talk about that. Hey, what about this? You know Pete Buttigieg?
Is he that Canadian dude?
No, he's that gay guy. That gay guy.
Oh, which one?
The one.
I know at least 3 gay guys.
He's the head of the Department of Transportation in the United States.
Oh, yeah, I'd hate to be that guy.
So he knows all about cars, presumably. That dude, that guy's on the record saying that for climate change, for eco-friendliness, we should track how many miles every single car in the U.S. drives, and we should tax them per mile because they're using X amount of gas. And also we should use the chips that are in cars that track how fast you're going. And instead of having cops pull you over because you're speeding, it'll just monitor whenever you're speeding, and you'll be charged a speeding ticket for however many minutes you were speeding. What do you think about all that?
Oh, really? There's a lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda, and I hate when a fella shoulda, woulda, coulda. I tell you what, man, Bridgestone recommends you check your tire pressure once a week, but nobody fucking does that. He better keep his fucking mouth shut, I'll tell you that right now, because, it wasn't too long ago, people were sitting in Zoom calls, these congressmen, these congresswomen, and they were saying, hey, y'all better keep 6 feet apart and don't touch each other, and you can't go out to buy groceries. And, they're Zoom calling from their Florida resort. They ain't doing shit. They're all hanging out, having parties.
I gotta be honest. I don't know what that response meant, really.
Oh, it's just rules for everybody else, but not for me.
I see. Okay. I get you.
Wasn't that Texas guy? He went on some kind of vacation. He was telling everybody to stay at home, and then him and his family went on some kind of pre-planned vacation or some shit.
Right. Ted Cruz. Or like that guy, it's like that guy who shot up that school. It's like, you're not allowed to shoot up a school, but we're allowed to, go to war with Iran.
Well, we already took care of Iran. That's some secret black ops shit you don't even know about.
Yeah. It's like if we blew up a school in Iran, that's for good.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just a simple country bumfuck that just loves vehicles too much, but it comes down to a deep philosophical argument. We're just a bunch of advanced cavemen playing pretend, throwing sticks at each other, except the sticks are nukes, and, technology's kind of passed us by.
Do you have any advice you'd want to give to people like yourself trying to live in this world where everything's just going crazy and then maybe even passing them by because it's getting so complicated? Do you have any advice you'd give to the people like you and me? Simple folk who are just trying to live in this crazy world. What do you do to keep yourself sane in these times?
Well, I drink a lot more these days, but I'll tell you, the more you go down that rabbit hole, the more horrified you're going to be. So just hug your family a little tighter, know that things are beyond your control, and just enjoy your days while you got them.
All right, hey, that's as good as it's going to get. Thank you for calling in, bro.
And if your truck's broken, hey, get a hold of me. Let me know. We'll see what we can do, okay?
All right. Hey, post your number in the chat, and it's good to talk to you, man.
Hey, yeah, I'll keep calling as long as this bit ain't stale, so.
All right, bye. Oh.
Call
Trying to
from
get this go.
Pizza.
Pizza?
Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
How's it going, bro?
Good.
We're talking technology on the stream today.
Talking tech.
Yep, talking tech big time. And we've been talking a lot about AI and shit. You can weigh in on that if you want, but you can also talk about anything that's even vaguely related to tech. It's up to you. You know, like technology is also a crane or a car or the self-checkout aisle at the grocery store, which has become so popular.
That's right. That's cool. That's a good one.
You like the self-checkout?
I do like the self-checkout.
Do you want to talk about that or something else?
I'll talk about the self-checkout.
All right, go for it.
Well, I don't know. They have different... Do you have Kroger's where you're from?
No. But I have been to a Kroger's in my life.
What is it?
What is it?
Yeah, there's different like supermarkets.
What's my supermarket?
Yeah,
we have Hannaford and we have Price Chopper, formerly Price Chopper, now Market 32. Hannaford.
Sounds fancy.
No. That's the cheap one. That's the good one.
I went to a Big Apple once. Is that what, do you guys have that?
A Big Apple?
It's like an apple. It's like a supermarket with an apple on it. It's like a red apple.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. So you're not a Mainer?
Sorry, what?
You're not a Mainer then?
No. That's so. What is it called? Big Apple?
Yeah.
No, that's a chain. I've never heard of it. I've heard of a lot of grocery store chains: Stop and Shop, Kroger, Ralph's.
What about the Come and Go?
Say again.
Did you get the Come and Go?
Come and Go. That's a gas station, right?
Yeah.
They don't have that where I live, but I have seen that in like the Midwest, and they really do spell cum K-U-M, right?
Yeah, it's come with a K.
But
That's how it should always be spelled. That's some more of that double think stuff, man. It's like tonight with an N-I-T-E.
That makes it sexy.
It does. The checkout lady at my thing, she comes up and she checks, you know, what's the point of self-checkout if you still have to have an attendee checking if everyone's not...
What do they do? What do they do even? Like, they're just there to handle the problems as they arise.
They never get to read, you know, on the job. How many jobs do you get to read on the job?
That's fair.
Not a lot.
None. Almost none.
None at the supermarket, man.
You can read on the job if you're like a security guard, like if you're guarding something that's not that important.
It's not a good look. You know, people think that when you're on the job and you read it and it's like you're fucking doing a crime or something. It's like, come on. Like, what is everyone else doing? You know? They're on their damned phones or off in their imagination space, you know?
The people.
Is that technology?
Yeah. So it's like technology, like the self-checkout lane is a great example. It's like, instead of having
it takes longer to fucking...
Instead of having 8 cashiers waiting for people to check out, you could just have one cashier waiting for someone to have a problem checking out themselves.
That's right, man. It's bullshit.
But I love checking out by myself.
Time.
But dude, what about checking out by yourself? Like, it is better. You don't have to deal with a person. You can just do it yourself. It's like, how many times have you been checking out and it's like, I feel bad that like this person has to do this. Like, it's really like, I could just fucking do this shit myself. And now we have that freedom. but it doesn't cost less. That'd be nice if you got a little percent off for checking yourself out.
They're gonna do that for a while. They had the self scan, and you scanned your groceries while you were shopping carting with them, and then they'd give you a little ransom because nobody wanted to use it. They're like, "We'll give you $10 if you use our scanners." Did that happen?
People they still wouldn't do it?
People still wouldn't do it, man. They had to get rid of it in shame. I don't know where they ditched it. Sad. Sometimes things don't work out, man.
Dude, I can't tell if it's your voice or the phone, but I can comprehend every third word that you're saying.
Third word. Well, so anyway, I don't know, man. Technology, it's kooky. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Well, what about the Matrix, dude?
Yeah. What about it?
What happens when the Matrix comes out?
In IRL, you mean?
IRL. Yeah, what about robo manservants that go rogue?
Ooh.
Start school shooting us.
So what do you think about robo companions? You would marry them. Do you think that'll happen? Like a
waifu?
Yeah, but a robo waifu, whereas she's physical and you can have sex with her.
That would kick ass. that would totally rule.
But a same gender assistant, that would not be cool.
Like a butler, a robo butler.
Yeah, butler, yeah. Or an agendered butler.
That would be pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, I mean anybody doing things for you but how much are you gonna pay for that shit? Hey, wait, this is a question. This is a good question. I'm gonna preface this question by saying it's a good question. You can buy a robo waifu. Is it waifu or waifu?
Waifu.
I really don't know. Okay, we'll say waifu. How much would you pay for that? If she's everything, if she could look exactly how you wanted, if the grooves of her vagina could be exactly tailored to whatever you wanted, how much would you pay? Would you pay a subscription? Would you pay up front? And what is the dollar amount?
You got to get a loan. That's what I think.
You got to get what?
A big loan.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
30 grand.
Oh yeah.
But it's an investment.
So you would pay.
You treat it like an investment. You can film yourself with the robot and review and do a box opening on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Shit. You could.
There you go.
Yeah. You
pay
could.
For itself.
You could. Yeah. You could pay for itself. Dude, you're opening my eyes right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing with robot killbots.
Killbots?
It'll all work out with them. Because once they become the people, then they're going to have the same problems we have, and then they're going to realize that it was all just some vain joke.
Oh.
And then they'll make robot butlers of themselves.
Oh.
Then the cycle's complete, and then they get robot. Then they get Matrix, and then it's a double battery, double Matrix.
Who is anyone alive at this point? Are any humans on the Earth?
You know how they built a city over San Francisco? They had the old city, and that was the first city, and then they were this city sucks, so they scrapped it, and then now the mole people live under the city.
I don't know that, but I believe you.
It'll be like that, but with reality itself.
There will be a whole fake reality built on top of the real reality.
Exactly, but it's going to be sort of an under thing, and it's not going to really matter to the double bots. But
hey, so
the first bots, they create like a storm thing. Have you ever seen that?
No. I don't know what you're talking about.
It blocks out the sun because there's solar power.
This is like the Animatrix.
Yeah, the Animatrix.
Yeah. Well, so this is the weird thing about the Matrix and the Animatrix, but like what doesn't really make sense, and I think we have a pretty easy solution here. Is like artificial intelligence is not really built to navigate the real world. We, as our human meat sacks, we are built to navigate the real world because we are real people with physical presence and all that shit. So will the computer takeover occur like when we've got like the metaverse going full-fledged? Because like that's the environment that the computers can thrive in, is like they don't need to have a body, they can just be themselves.
But dude, have you ever seen Lawnmower Man?
Dude, I fucking love Lawnmower Man. I just saw it for the first time a few months ago.
That's a pretty good movie. So what if the virtual world and the real world are just... What if the virtual world actually becomes a real world? And then, also beyond that, why would robots want Earth if they didn't have to breathe air? They just go live out in space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the whole thing, there's no need to stress about it. Not the robots.
Everything's gonna be all right.
Everything's gonna be all right. Those robots, they're not gonna hurt us.
What if we're already in the VR world? Like we already did this, and this is all fake.
Yeah. Yeah, well, maybe we are robots. Maybe we are in the Matrix. The only way to find out is to be like Neo and sort of get on your computer and try your hardest to figure things out.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say the only way to figure out is to kill yourself.
That's also a good way to do it. Yeah, you could drill a big, nice hole in your head.
Figure it out instantly. You wouldn't have to do all the work.
Learn everything about JavaScript. And then maybe you'll get a message from somebody saying, hey, man.
We have a secret floppy disk for you to try out. It's going to change everything in your life. All right, hey, dude. It was great talking to you, man. Thanks for calling in.
Oh, thank you. All
right. Okay. Bye. That guy's called in a couple times. Love that guy. Hey, if you're that guy, keep calling in. Have a great time. All right. We're going to do a couple more calls here. I'm still feeling it. I still have half a beer left. 518-288-7938. We'll do a couple more. Oh, shit. Uh-oh. I couldn't even say couple more. Maybe we should just end this shit right now. Oh, boy. I'm going to make myself some microwaved mac and cheese as soon as this is over. I'm getting hungry. Got $2 off some Bob Evans.
Call from
Corvis.
Corvis?
Hi.
How's it going, bro?
It's going well. I'm a big fan.
Thanks, man.
I got two different things I could talk about. I'll let you decide.
Okay.
I could either talk about if AI have, minds, or the gamer's dilemma.
I mean, I gotta learn more about the gamer's dilemma. I've never heard of that before. It sounds very intriguing. What's going on with
it's
that?
cool. It's interesting. I love to hear your opinion on it. It's a ethical question about gaming, where it's a great sort of problem where, if there was a video game, right, and the video game was about like the objective of the game is to like be a pedophile, right? Everyone would be like, no, that's a horrible game, that's immoral. And so the question comes, right, like, what is different from that and like, GTA just going like killing random people or like torturing people in games? So
the dilemma is that you either have to say that like that killing innocent people in video games is wrong, or you have to say that like a video game where there was like virtual pedophilia is okay.
Well, the situation that you described was slightly different from how you summarized at the end, where it's just like and maybe this doesn't make a difference. I would ask you, does the point of the video game matter? The goal? Because you were saying if the goal of a video game is to be a pedophile versus GTA, like the fun of Grand Theft Auto is just causing chaos and doing however you want. But it's not literally like the goal of the game. And the goal of the game is technically the missions and fulfilling the objectives of the missions. And it's like, me as a character wants to kill these people for a reason that supposedly makes sense as me as a character. Whereas, like, I don't know. Does that make a difference? Is that part specifically make a difference? The goal, the objective versus what you can do?
Yeah, the you know, the thought experiment brings that up. Like, it's like, okay, well, what if we imagine like a game where like the goal isn't like pedophilia, but there's like a mission where you can like do it, or like it's like a side quest or something, and then it still seems like that's wrong.
That's a goal, but I think like what you're talking about is like if in Grand Theft Auto,
yeah,
it's not part of a mission, but like you also have the capability to have sex with children.
Exactly. Like
that is a good question, because you have the capability to like fucking murder everybody, but you can't. You
Exactly.
aren't allowed to fuck a kid.
And both are like really wrong. Like no one would ever do that in real life, but it's suddenly like there's like this disconnect, and it's kind of a question of like, all right, when I play video games, do I need to like try to be as moral as possible, or like does it just not even matter? Are we like?
This is an interesting question. I mean, like, hey, like a game that I play, I don't play a lot of games really regularly, but this game, Civilization, I'll play that like maybe once every few months, and I'll get super sucked into it, and I'll just play a whole game like for 10 hours straight. But like my entire goal in Civilization, whenever I play it, and I've played all the time, and it's just like every single time I play it, the goal is to do well enough that towards the end of the game, I could just start blowing everybody up with nuclear bombs. Like that's always my strategy. Never changed it over the past 10 years. And you would think like that's technically worse than pedophilia is. If we're talking about imaginary people, like it is technically worse to be like, I'm gonna explode the entire world with nuclear bombs.
Yeah, exactly. It's a weird like problem, because like there's certain things that if it's virtual, we're like, oh no, that sounds immoral. But then if it's other stuff like blowing everyone up, and some of it's like cartoonish, right? Like, of course I wouldn't blow up everyone with a nuclear bomb. And so maybe that plays into it. Like,
but
how
it's
realistic.
saying that if I was so totalitarian in charge of everything, like that would be my ultimate strategy with the world. Would be to do as well as I can until I can explode everybody.
Just get rid of everyone.
I think with the pedophilia thing, it's like, you know, probably part of that is like, you know, people being like, we don't want our game to be an outlet for pedophiles. Whereas like that doesn't really, I don't know. There is a disconnect there between
Dilemma.
like a sexual thing versus like a murder thing. That is weird. That is an interesting problem.
Yeah, no, it's weird, and it plays into like as technology progresses, right? Like there's gonna be more things that you can just like do, and in a
more immersive way, a more realistic way.
Yeah, exactly. And is there like a like there's that seems to be like that people getting desensitized, I think is like huge.
Well, that's like the thing is like when we think about these sorts of issues, my mind goes to like, you know, Congress people trying to ban video games and shit. I think a lot of people's minds go to that, and they think like that's ridiculous because video games, you know, I don't want to say everybody, but like like I'm not even like a gamer, like an adult gamer. But when I was a kid, like I played video games all the time, and I loved them, and definitely thought it was a ridiculous idea that like video games were, you know, training me to become a horrible person.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, like, there is, like, it's a weird line, because a lot of it is, like, games, like, a lot of this stuff can be, like, what can be, like, so immersive in storytelling, or in experiences and creativity, but then also, like, there is something to be said about, like, technology becoming, like, overstimulating our little monkey brains.
Mm-hmm.
And like desensitizing it.
Have you seen The Lawnmower Man?
Yeah, I have. I love that movie. It's a great movie.
Dude, nice. We were just talking about that on the last call. That's like that's sort of in like the point of that movie is like we're using games and VR specifically to train a human mind to be a certain way. Whereas like theoretically games that exist today aren't that, like they are for entertainment and people, but I could see how that could develop into a weird, dangerous thing. Like if games stopped being about entertainment and they started being about like training the human mind for some sort of fucked up alternate reality.
Yeah, or even just like causing people to lose some of their like because there's a huge difference with like actually like seeing a dead body in a game and a dead body in like real life. And I think people like, if you don't have that experience, like there's like I think a lot of people become like desensitized, but like desensitized in like a wrong way where they're disconnected from what like it's actually like.
But I think that goes beyond video games, even to videos
like,
and images and stuff like.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Like the internet is full of things that will desensitize you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the side that I'm a technology supporter. I think that our lives are significantly better than any animal that has ever lived that we know of, and that's because of like technology. I mean. Little things like I can listen to any music I want, like at any time.
Yeah,
like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But I always think that like AI is whatever it's talking about. But I think the psychological effects of, you know, having everything at your fingertips is the more scary thing to me.
How do you think that should be handled? Do you
I don't
think,
know.
or
I think
should it be handled?
I don't think it should ever be regulated. I think it's up to the person, like, you know, like. Because anyone can fuck their lives up with anything, right? It's just the internet is like easy to do it and not realize that you're doing it. And I think it just comes down to like, you know, education, you know, like informing people, like, you know, the big example that everyone always goes to is like porn stuff. Like that stuff can really like mess people up psychologically, and it is like I don't think it should be regulated because like no one can do it that well.
I mean, imagine the world where porn is like regulated by the federal government.
Oh yeah, it would be like totally against that, but certainly like it's something about it's like any sort of thing that like our brains can't evolve as fast as we're gonna make new technology.
Yeah,
that's the danger. Just as in anything, like food.
Like evolution happens over thousands or millions of years.
Yeah, and someone brought up earlier that like from the 1900s to now, it's like the evolution of technology is like crazy. And our little monkey brains can't keep up. It's like sugar. Like our monkey brains can't deal with how much easier it is to get sugar now. So it's so easy to get addicted to sugar.
Do you think there is a way for us as individuals to use technology in a way that benefits us without poisoning us? Like, that's all I want is like, I want to be able to be a part of new technological things and use them to my advantage rather than use them and feel like it's eating away at my soul.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just all about it's the same sort of mindset you have to have with like food. Mm-hmm. Like you can't eat like ice cream is pretty cool, but like
it's delicious.
Ice cream all the time. Same with like the internet. Like there's lots of stuff on the internet that are really fun, but it is a lot about like just having that sort of like temperance with the internet and being like, you know what, I'm gonna spend some time not scrolling. Or maybe I'm going to get rid of like an app that I use that I scroll too much on. Or maybe I'm going to try to read a book or just, do something creative.
And probably like the general problem with that is just that like all of the most powerful institutions in the world are telling you to do the opposite of that. They are telling you to be on the phone or on the computer constantly so you can constantly see the new ads and stuff. Like it's not beneficial at all to the institutions of the world to tell you to unplug for any amount of time.
Exactly. No, yeah. That's why you gotta just
do that yourself. Like no one's gonna tell you to do that. You have to come to that conclusion yourself.
They got to bring back those messages on games that are like, hey,
you've been playing the Wii for a long time. It's been like 1 hour. Do you want to go walk outside, perhaps?
Yeah, I miss that stuff. I wish like my computer would tell me that sometimes.
Right. You have to find some sort of like dumbass app to do that specifically.
No, yeah, I said I've tried. I've gotten my phone usage down to like an hour and a half.
That's very good.
I'm pretty proud of it. Yeah,
I'll do that just in the morning, just when I'm in bed.
Yeah, that's usually when I do. Like, I've gotten rid of most of like the scrolling apps, because there's also a thing of like, you just don't like. I tried to recall as much information as I learned on like scrolling through Twitter, and I couldn't do it. That's the thing. Like, it's just like not useful. Like, it's not information that it like will stay in your head. Like a conversation you have with someone, like that'll stay in your head. But like just mindlessly scrolling, it's not real like stimulation.
That's why you like the thing so you can get a record of it, and you can never delete your account so that you can maintain your record of all the things that you want to remember.
Yeah.
It's a perfect system. Yeah. Perfect system.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it's I worry about like kids.
Yeah.
A lot with this kind of stuff.
Do you have any nieces or nephews or kids of your own?
Nope. None at all. But I would definitely try to limit their technology until they're like older, because your brain is. That's a good question. I feel like I didn't get a phone until early high school.
Yeah, that's about when I got my first dumb phone. It wasn't even a smartphone.
Yeah,
but even like being able to text people that's already like a leap.
Yeah, exactly. And like I didn't, but I think that like it's sort of like I remember like when I was using, like my dad limited how much I used like the family computer when we had one, and I was always kind of like pissy about it. But like now that I'm looking back, I'm like, man, I'm glad he did that rather than like just like letting me use it as much.
Well,
because it's like
the idea of even the family computer is such a relic, dude. Like now every single person has a computer in their hand, like at all times.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's why, it's just like it's too much for like a child's brain, I think. Like the entirety of like human knowledge. It's too much. It's too much for like my brain, like now
Right.
at time.
Right.
Like it's got to be too much for like a developing kid. Like, and that's why it's like it's the same reason why like, you know, why like kids don't drink like alcohol. You know, until a certain, because it's like your brain's developing. Anything that's gonna like psychologically affect you, like as a parent, you should go like, hey, why don't you go outside for a bit?
Right.
You know.
And I have 9 nieces and nephews in my family.
Really? Wow.
I have a lot of siblings. They have a lot of kids, but it is a very particular thing, and I don't feel like I can fully judge my siblings because I just don't have a kid, and it like I have to understand to some level here that's just like I don't get how much responsibility that is to have a kid, but like the screens, they let you offload just a little bit of that responsibility, where it's just
Exactly,
like I can buy the kid, you know, the Amazon Kid Kindle. It's specifically for kids. They can only go on YouTube Kids. They can only go on all the kid version of all the apps, and it's like, you know, my siblings have different degrees of how much they allow their kids to go with that stuff. They all have some amount. They all recognize that we can't just like put a screen in front of the kid all day and expect for them to be like a kind of person that we can even relate to. So they all have different amounts of regulation. But all my siblings with kids, all these 9 kids, have that going on. None of them are like no screen time. Even for kids as young as like 3 and 4 years old, like the 3 and 4-year-olds beg for the phone like you wouldn't believe. Like that's what they want more than anything throughout the entire day. All they want to do is stave off their boredom, and if the adults aren't able to make time because of work or whatever, you know, just like keeping the house in order, like any amount of time that the adults aren't able to make for the kids are just bored, and they want more than anything to have the phone because the phone is the most engaging form of entertainment. It's better than the TV, you know, it's better than board games, it's better than books. And we all agree, all of humanity agrees, including the adults, that the phone is better than anything in terms of entertaining us.
Exactly. That's the like hard thing. And that's why I don't know, like, I don't know if I've ever a kid, but like that's why I can't. I'm kind of glad that I was born at a time where like technology was just sort of on the rise when I was a teenager, and so like I got to like interact with like the creativity, you know, of like the internet as a teenager, but I didn't have that like sort of overwhelming wave of just like stimulation.
The internet when we were growing up was not built for like young children at all.
Exactly. Yeah.
And right now, like we're at the point where it's like all of these weird content farms have popped up over the past 10 years, and they're specifically aimed at children. They're the sort of people that have like the videos that are like, look at the 8 different colored versions of Spider-Man dancing in the Grand Theft Auto universe. And like, shit. So it's just like a million billion hours of useless, mind-numbing content that's like the worst thing you've ever seen. But it is built specifically for kids, which is, we had nothing like that when we were kids and the internet was a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's genuinely like, it worries me, like how these kids are going to grow up. Because there is a lot to like, when you're a kid and you don't have a lot, you have to be like creative, or you have to be like curious about stuff. Like I would go out. I had like a little nature journal when I was a kid. Like, and there are kids that are still like that, but like I worry that like you just like, you know, because it's easy to entertain a kid that way. Are they going to lose a sort of like spark of humanity in them when they grow up?
I totally agree. I think that kids by default are like how you describe, like they're just curious and like they can make fun out of any situation. But then I think that they are currently being tainted in the same way that we as adults are tainted. It's like, I think kids see their parents and they're on the phone all the time because all of us are on our phone all the time. And the kids are like, fuck that. Like, where's my phone? Like, I want to be on the phone all the time. It's clearly the most interesting thing in the whole world because my parents are doing it all the time and everyone's doing it all the time.
Yeah. I mean, like that. Yeah. It's affecting us. It's got to be affecting this next generation.
What do we do? What can we do?
That's what I find most scary about technology. AI, not really that worried about it, but the psychological effects, that's what I'm.
It's like the only way to fix that for your own kids is to fix it in yourself, though. It's like your kids see you on the phone all the time. They are going to also want to be on the phone all the time.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's why, I mean, like, I can imagine, I mean, I know people with like 12 hours of screen time.
A day, yeah.
Yeah. And like, sometimes it's because they like put on something in the background while they're doing work on their phone. But like, still, I mean, like, I think there is something to be said about like letting your, ever seen, Dinner with Andre?
One of my favorite movies.
Yeah, you know, there's that great part where he's talking about how he just don't let it, like, you know, people don't sit down as much and just like let themselves like think, you know, be alone with just their thoughts.
That movie is so good. Just take this moment to recommend that to everybody. My Dinner with Andre, a movie from like 1979 that is so incredibly prescient about today's stuff. It's insane. It's such a good movie.
Yeah, especially if you like listening to two people talk about stuff.
It's like a podcast, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a podcast for a podcast.
All right, hey dude, I gotta let you go. I'm gonna end the show here in a second. Any final thoughts here?
You wanna... Thanks for having me on.
All right, hey, it's good talking to you, man.
Yeah, bye.
Okay, have a go. Oh, all right, bye. All right. Yeah, we're gonna call it. We've done 3.5 hours here. This is good. My Dinner with Andre, such a good movie. Just bringing it up makes me want to listen, makes me want to watch it tonight, and I probably will because it's an excellent, excellent movie. And like I said, it's wild how relevant it is to modern stuff for being made basically 50 years ago, like 40, 45 years ago. All right. So this has been the Call-In Show. Thank you everyone for calling in. It's been a fun one. I like talking to everybody on this show. It's been good. You heard about all the chunk shit, chunkmonthly.gumroad.com. Check that shit out if you're interested. About physical media coming to you in the mail every month. If you can do $10 a month, do it. Do it for a few months and I'm certain that you will be pleased to see your chunk stacks grow. You know, if you're there for a few months, after 3 or 4 months, you'll be like, wow, I've been getting all this awesome stuff. Like I now have a collection, a chunk collection. So think about that. chunkmonthly.gumroad.com. Lots of great stuff is on there right now and in the future. Even all the music from this stream is featured on a CD that will be coming out through Chunk next month. It's the next release. I just haven't really, I'm not able to talk about it that much because it's like, if you sign up for the monthly option, you're not going to get it. And also it's not for sale right now. But probably the next time we have the Call-In Show here, the CD you'll be able to buy. Maybe, probably, might be the one after that. Anyway, it's good talking with everybody. Thanks for listening. I may try to do another show next week. I'm going to be traveling the week after that, so I definitely can't do it then, so maybe I'll try to do one now. But if not, I'll be seeing you just after that, so it'll be soon. It's good. I keep saying it's been good talking to everyone. All right, anyway. Thanks for listening. And have a great Sunday evening. All right? Bye.